We are live. What's up, beasties? It's me, it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast, Chris, and I am here with a very special guest for a very special episode of Beast Friends Forever, and I'm here with Mike from Mike's Book Reviews right here. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, just living the dream. Thanks so much. Sorry it took so long to get this scheduled out, but I'm glad it's finally happening.
Yeah, me too, man. No problem at all. It's awesome. I'm excited. We got a lot of people in the chat here.
I know someone's calling us beautiful. All right.
I know, right?
This crowd's already drunk. I like it.
Already digging them. We got Grimfell here, the rock star himself. Ooh, you almost got first. Sarah Beth is here. What's up? Ryan Skeffington. What's up, man? Thanks for being here.
Great Andrew's so nice. Andrew's so nice.
We got some awesome people.
Andrew, drop what page number you're on and When in Truth. I want to know if I'm beating you still.
Man. What page are you on?
Like, oh gosh, it's 700 and something. I don't know.
Oh, that's pretty good.
You know, I don't do audio, so I'm doing it all by my eyes. 716. 716.
That's pretty impressive, my friend. That is
which is barely halfway.
Halfway through the book.
Only in a Sanderson book, right?
Oh man. Oh yeah, of course. Well, I'm negative because I'm only on Words of Radiance. So I'm
okay. Well,
I'm not
no rush for you. Yeah.
No. For sure. Tim, thanks for being here, man. Andrew's here. What's up? Alex is here. How's it going? Brian from Belltube, thanks for being here. I did get the goat. That's right. Heck
Brian's
yeah.
Far too kind.
Hey, M Twice is here. What's up? Josh is here. NA's here. And I think that's everybody for now. We got lots more people filing in. So,
welcome.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks to everyone in the chat. This is exciting. So before we go in too much into stuff, I'm sure we're going to have a great time and go on all sorts of tangents and talk about all sorts of different things. But before we do, I just want to say thank you, not just for coming on, but just for what you do. And I know you're a super modest guy, and that's part of your charm, part of why we all love you. But thank you for what you do because, you got me back into reading. You were one of the first booktubers I found that I really connected with. Because, at first I found a lot of funny booktubers or good ones, but they were a lot younger than me or didn't really read exactly what I really liked. And I'm like, oh, this guy is he's a little bit older like me. He's got kids. He's married. He likes the same exact books I like. And so that was awesome. And then, like I told you in my email, that video you did about your weight loss journey and all that stuff, like that really helped me too and kickstarted me. And since I put into some of those things in my diet that you talked about and a lot of other things, I think I've lost like 50, 60 pounds since I watched that in the last year and a half or so. So, yeah, man. Your
TBR looks like mine. We need to eat better so we can live long enough to read all of it, right?
I know. We do. It's true. I know. I think I only need to live to like the age 7 million to read all the books I want to read. I think I figured out the math, but just thank you, dude, for real. You make a huge difference.
Nothing makes me feel better than someone saying that they weren't reading at all and I got them to pick up a book, because really in the end that's the goal. Because it seemed like you would look at statistics and it seemed like in the States more and more every year less people were reading, and I was like, well, what can I do to try to help with that? I just talk about first why fantasy should be taken seriously. Fantasy and horror seem like it gets so disrespected. Even as compared to like science fiction, it seems like it just gets so disrespectful. It's like heavy metal music, where it's like not even considered like legitimate. So that was the first thing I wanted to do, and then obviously led me to meeting people like Philip, who are can give an actual, real educated reason of why it matters. But what I could do is get people to read, and I'm happy to do that.
Heck yeah, man! I think when I first found you was I love Dresden Files, and I was trying to get. I had gone along like a couple years without reading, and I was not caught up on the series yet. I'd fallen behind, and I'm like, oh man, I don't really like to reread. I'm like, but I don't remember what happened in the last 12 books,
That's back when I was doing spoiler videos. Yeah,
I found those, and I'm like, this is awesome. So I literally listened to like 14 of those, so I can remember everything.
Doing that, but then I realized it was two things about it I didn't like doing. One, I didn't like feeling like I had to take notes while I was reading.
Oh yeah,
because the other thing was if I left one thing out, man, the Files fans got all over me about, I can't believe you didn't mention this. I'm like, well, I'm not trying to do a Cliff Notes version here. I'm just trying to talk about things that really I remembered. But
yeah. I think you did pretty good, man.
We're passionate, put it that way.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing some of those in the comments. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, they're very passionate, but that way, that's a great series and awesome fans. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that for sure. We had a couple more people come in and say hello. So Ray is here, and Brian says he's on page 502, and then Andrew.
Yeah, but Brian's listening on like 4 times speed on audio.
Yeah,
doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Oh yeah, Andrew's on 326. That's like a smidgen in that book, right?
Hey, Andrew, I'm proud of you though. You haven't DNF'd yet. Good job, buddy.
Well, you knew that was going to come at some point.
I have to at least once. I mean, it feels like the party doesn't get started until you talk about Andrew DNF in the book. So
that's right. You have to. Oh man. We got all the peoples in here. Mindy's here. Some other characters here. He said your voice sounds great because earlier you talked about how you were recording a lot today.
What the thing was like everybody assumed that meant I say it because I was going like this. Like I was just like choking myself because I was miserable, because it's just the amount of time you things get really busy right before the holidays at work, and I know work during the weekdays it's going to be too busy to record, so I'll record all my content on the weekend.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, making sure you try to stay disciplined enough to do that. When it's a Saturday, you just kind of want to sit around your pajama pants and do nothing like that, So
I know.
That's what it was. No, but it's just coffee right now. No.
Are you sitting on? Do you sit on like a higher chair, like a stool, for when you're in that backdrop?
No, regular size. It's just a little reading chair. But no, I
look so short right now.
I have my. I guess I just got because when I'm recording my regular videos, I have it like on the thing here. This is just on top of the laptop when I do a live stream. Yeah. I just do the live because if I try to live stream from my phone, it would be a disaster probably.
Same for me. I use the computer thing too. Yeah, I can't do it. I need to be able to see everything, and I don't know how people do it on their phone.
I mean, I've started recording on my phone for the regular videos.
I do that too. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I've got this really fancy schmancy camera, and the iPhone looks better. And I'm just like, I can't figure. I'm just not smart enough.
I know.
To figure out these double mirrored cameras and all that crap. I was just like, I gave up, and it's like the iPhone looks better.
Yep. Same with me. Yep. I know.
Wow. I agree. Twin in truth already. You guys are maniacs.
I know. I was just gonna say, man.
You guys are machines, man. I'm hoping I can finish by Christmas.
I know, man. You've put such a dent in it, and you're only like halfway. That's wild.
I think it's one of those things like when you first get a book, like you're excited. It's been 4 years. You're excited to see these characters again. You just dive in. You just want to eat it up, and then it starts being like, okay, I'm starting to feel it at about page 400, and you slow down a little bit, I think. At least when you're doing eyes only, I feel like. But there are a lot of people who are doing the audio. I know they are already done. I'm like, that's impressive, man. Because I don't know. I don't think I could find that much time to audio during the day, even if I could do the audiobook thing. But
I know. Yeah, I know. Same. I do audio sometimes, like if I'm driving a really long drive, or if I'm like cutting the grass on the riding lawnmower or something. But I can't just sit and like listen to audio. I think it's awesome people can do it, but I can't focus. I get too distracted.
Yeah. No, I think it's just years of blocking out kids. You just can't turn that off. No, the thing is, I'm a big sports fan, so I listen to a lot of sports radio.
Oh yeah.
You can just kind of drift out. And when you're listening to a podcast, who cares if you didn't hear the
last you don't, it doesn't matter
on a book, especially one with 700 names in it. Yeah, it's like I can't I will miss something, and then I'll be like, hey, I don't understand why this happened, and people will be like, you're stupid, didn't you read the book? So I just too many details if I don't see it with my eyes.
I'm the same. Yep, I agree. So that is funny you mentioned sports. Well, not funny, but you mentioned sports.
It's painful.
Now I do want to say first, so I don't forget, that you are a Texans fan.
Sure.
And I am a Lions fan.
Oh man,
so how about that game?
I mean, it's only the Texans can set the kind of records where it's like no team since the 1950s have intercepted the ball 5 times.
Oh, that was crazy, man.
And blown a 3-touchdown lead. I was like, that's just what the kind of stuff the Texans do, you know. I mean, so it's just,
man.
It is, but hey, I'm excited for you guys. I mean, think everybody's pulling for Detroit. It feels like except maybe Kansas City fans, but out there, or anybody else that's in the like Brian's a Vikings fan. So of course he's probably not.
Yeah, Brian doesn't like that.
But I feel like everyone at this point's got to be like, hey, Detroit deserves this.
Yeah,
they do. And they're a fun team to watch, man. I love when they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs and everybody was laughing. I was like, I take Jahmyr Gibbs on my team, and
I know. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, they have they're a lot of fun. I mean, I have been a fan for a long time, so I remember that 0-16 season. That was
the beginning of the year. It was like, all right, Texans Lions Super Bowl. It only makes sense. It's like, no, because then one of them would have to lose, and the suffering continues. So no, I don't want that.
I know. that would be pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, you guys have a much better shot than I think we do. So we'll see.
I know, but long term, I think you guys are set up pretty good. I mean, Stroud's pretty awesome.
Hopefully they don't get him killed. Hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And I love
that gauntlet. We got the 3 games in 11 days coming up here. So
that's sometimes the scheduling is wild.
Because the NFL cares about player safety. Here's 3 games in 7 days. Because
he'll be fine. Okay, it's all right. Scott Mitchell. Yeah, I remember Scott Mitchell.
I've been rooting for the Lions since the Barry days. So
Barry was so fun to watch.
Do something.
I think
we're not going to hold that against you. And I mean, there's a Titans fan and a Colts fan in the
Colts fan.
This is rough. I feel like I'm behind enemy lines here. Okay.
I know. Look at that. All these AFC South teams in here. Watch out. Oh man. And then the Rockets are doing pretty good this year.
Yeah, it's you do the rebuild right. You just completely suck for 3 years, and it starts to turn around. It feels better. I think they made the right coaching hire, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
But
the Pistons have done that. They've sucked really bad for like 12 years.
So I just watched the Bad Boys documentary on the Pistons, and good. Man, I loved that team. The thing was, I was treated like a pariah by my friends. How can you like that team, man? They're just gangsters. I'm like, that's why I like them. I like the bad guys when I watch wrestling. This is awesome. Because I was always like, don't just keep letting layups happen. And Bill Laimbeer would be like, I'm gonna break your face. So everybody's like, oh, Bill Laimbeer, most hated player ever. I was like, I like him.
Yeah,
he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. There we go.
Yes.
It's
good to watch, man. I know them, and then when they had to go into work crew with Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups. That was a fun ride too.
I called that the Just a Guys team. It was like, who beat the Lakers? Just some dudes.
I know.
It was great.
Yeah, they didn't have one superstar. It was wild.
Good times.
So true. Oh man. So yes. Now before you got into Booktube, you used to do like sports podcasting and stuff. Right?
I had a Rockets and a Texans podcast, and if you know what that's like, it's just it beats you down after a while. And it's like I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. Really, the thing was like I wanted to talk about other things.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about media. I had a friend, and we just talked about movies, books, music, whatever. But he didn't really read very many books outside of like comics.
Yeah.
So I just kind of started doing this on the side, kind of thing. And then I was like, wow, there's other people out there who read books. This is amazing. I had no idea BookTube was a thing when I started. Doing it. Kind of a happy accident.
Yeah.
But just kind of evolved from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it worked out pretty well for sure.
Oh man, the Bill Laimbeer combat basketball. I remember that game.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that in a minute. Wow. Okay.
Oh man, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, there's some fun basketball games back in the day. Like when NBA Jam first came out.
On Twitter recently about just like how painful NBA is to watch right now. But it's like, it's my 3rd favorite. But, it's still one of my 3 favorites. So it's not like a point reviewing for me like it used to be. But I'll still watch.
Yeah. Baseball's your 2nd.
Yeah, it's easy when your team is borderline dynasty for like 8 years. It's easy to get into baseball a little more than you usually would.
Yeah.
But just like the Rockets, they went through 3 years of being the worst team in the league, to rebuild their team. And now it seems like that's fizzling out. But I never can complain about a good stretch. Your team wins 2 championships while you're alive. You can die happy.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm not picky. Yeah.
No, you can't beat that.
even though everybody treats us like the villains, again, I don't mind being the villains. I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly fine with being the bad guys. I love it. I love it. NWO fan. I'm Four Horsemen fan. I grew up a wrestling fan, like I said.
Oh
And
yeah,
you just cannot get the heat that heels in wrestling get. I love it. I love it. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, that was the best. That whole run. Like, do you still watch wrestling now or no?
Off and on. I just watch WrestleMania each year,
Yeah.
maybe the Royal Rumble or something like
Yeah.
that. But just like a weekly, nah.
Man,
I would like to, like, it's coming to Netflix. Maybe
Mhm.
I'll check it out with my kids and see if it changes a little bit. It's in the right hands now. I think putting in Triple H's hands is a good move.
I
think
agree.
he's very smart, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Who knows? Maybe Netflix is going to kind of take the handcuffs off of them and kind of just let them do whatever they want. That would be really awesome.
That would be really cool.
The product does need to grow up a little bit again.
It does. They need to get back to when it was like, because I love.
I mean, I understand they can't go completely like rated R like they did for a bit there in the 90s and early 2000s.
That's when it was so fun, though.
Yeah, but it would be great. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I was like, in today's day and age, they would get like no sponsors, and I understand.
I know. Yeah,
I understand that, but it's just like I think you get over it when you're pulling like millions and millions in ratings. But who knows? Who knows?
I don't know if this is true or if Brian's just messing around. That would be something.
Jesse the Body, man. Last time I saw him, he was making me feel like I was like not a conspiracy nut about JFK. So I don't know, man. Jesse's something.
He's something else for sure. AEW. Did you ever watch that one at first?
I did. I wanted them to be good just so there was competition. Because I was like, the last time WWE was really, really good was when there was real competition, and I feel like that was the only thing that was going to make them get better, but they made some mistakes.
Yep. Kind of started to get a little stale, just like WWE, unfortunately. Brian says it's totally true. Interesting.
Whatever, Brian. I'm sick of you and your freaking Vikings. Oh, we've only won 6 in a row. And he complains to me every week about how his team's playing. What a shock. Oh, they won by 21? Oh, it must suck, Brian. I'm laughing. You guys pay Sam Darnold and have to trade JJ McCarthy. It's going to be great.
Oh, man.
Great. The drama.
I know. It's coming. Yeah, it's crazy that they're 11-2. They've had so many close games. It's wild. They're figuring it out. Oh, man. So
I saw you guys off of wrestling and sports talk. It wasn't what I expected, but that's what happens in these conversations.
I know. I couldn't help it. Oh man. So my favorite, my 2 favorite book series are some of your favorites too. I love First Law and Joe Abercrombie. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And then Red Rising and Pierce Brown.
There we go. All right. I
I
feel like it still doesn't get enough love.
I agree.
I mean, it's
wild,
big. It's big enough now that he can have his own conventions and stuff. It's still like on Booktube, and I'll talk about it. People still be like, I'm not sure about Red Rising. I'm like, how can you love First Law and not get into It's like I tell people, just get to book 2 and you'll see what I'm coming from. And then you get those sequel books. I'm like, these feel like they were gross written by Joe Abercrombie. These are really brutal books.
They are, for sure.
Don't believe me for some reason.
I know. That first book I feel like blocks a lot of people, and it's like, just stick with it. It gets so much
long. I was like, we're epic fantasy readers. These books are like 350 pages.
Oh,
You'll be fine,
I know. Yeah, they're not.
The whole Red Rising trilogy is shorter than Wind and Truth.
Wind and Truth. Yeah. That is very true. Very true. I agree. Oh, come on, Shad. I don't like Red Rising. Did you read past the first book though?
I tell people if you read Golden Sun and you aren't into it, then it's not a series for you. I was like, Golden Sun's such an amazing book, man.
It is. Ooh, yeah. That ending. Grimfell knows what's up. He loves Red Rising. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what's it. So First Law is one of those when I was first doing this. I was like, am I good at this, or is it just Wheel of Time? Because I was just doing Wheel of Time videos when I started. And so I started talking about First Law, and it's so funny that when I actually talked to Joe Abercrombie, he told me he felt like me talking about First Law had sold more books than his publisher had. And I thought that was like the highest compliment I could get.
Oh, heck yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm just like, I can think of all the series I recommended, that seemed to be the one that got the most people to try for the first time. So again, with me, it's like that's the highest compliment I can get is people are checking out this series I love, and they end up loving, because it's that thing where you're excited to get people to try something, and then you're like scared. Oh crap! What if they don't like it?
What if they don't like it?
But I feel like First Law, I've had more success with that than I have with Red Rising for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel that for sure. I guess Shad read the first 2, just not for him, and he does love First Law. So
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
A bummer.
I know.
No one thing is for everyone. I say that, but at least you tried. At least you tried.
Exactly. So when do you think Red God's going to come out?
Oh, when I talked to Pierce Brown, he said that his goal was to finish writing it by December of 2024. Then it's usually like a 1-year turnaround or whatever. But who knows? Because Pierce, when he's writing, he goes radio silence on social media, and he's still silent. I feel like if he was done, he'd be on there talking to people. So it's one of those things where I don't know if it comes out next year, I'd be shocked. So I'm angling probably spring of 26.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I guess.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's one of those things where it's like, I want it now, but also I'm like, it's the last book I don't want it.
I know.
I don't want to do what I know he's going to do to all my favorite characters.
Yes. I know. There's no way it's going to be just a happy ending for everybody.
I've talked to him once since I had that interview, and I told him because he actually sent me Lightbringer after that. And I told him, I'm glad that we talked before I read Lightbringer, because if I had talked to you after Lightbringer, I probably wouldn't have shown up, because I'm not talking to you right now. Because what you did in Lightbringer. And he was like, mission accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
So he's the type of writer that gets power off of our tears, I think.
Oh, yes.
So he loves it.
He definitely twisted the knife in that one.
Yeah, painful.
Definitely.
Painful.
I know. Yeah, the whole scene was bad, but then after they had to put it on display again. I know. It was rough. It was rough.
I couldn't get past colonizing Mars, but you can't figure out how to deal with polypunctures in spacesuit. I mean, that's his fierce way. Is it's one of those where, like, hey, if you want like realistic science fiction, go read The Expanse.
Right? Yeah. That's not what Red Rising is. That's for sure. That
like Iron Rain probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but man, is it awesome? Yeah,
it is. Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. And you got to read The Devils, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. A lot of people got mad about it, but yeah, I read The Devils. It's very good, and I think First Law fans will be happy if you go into it. Like I said, don't go into it expecting the First Law.
Right.
But that writing style is still there. His characters still talk like those characters do. The dialogue's still great like that, and the world is very messed up. So it's, if you're worried about it being like Shattered Sea, which was a little too nice, for Joe.
Yeah,
you're not going to get that. So it doesn't feel like First Law, but the characters feel like they could fit in that kind of world.
For sure. That's awesome. I can't wait.
Really fun.
That's
awesome. You guys will love it.
And it's going to be a series, right?
Yeah, trilogy. What he does is like talking to Richard Swan about this. Is that's kind of like their method is they'll write the whole trilogy in their first draft, and then they'll edit the first one, turn it in. That way they know they've got a year before they've got to get the next one out. So just a year in between each book, like the same month every single. So I'm guessing May of 26 and May of 27 will be when he's releasing these. But I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And then I just saw that about a year from now we'll get the third book of in Empire of the Vampire.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't know they were going to be able to turn it around so quick.
I know.
It's the longest book he's ever written.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I was like, man, it's not like the first two were short.
No, they were pretty long too. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him, man. He's really working.
Oh, yeah. He's rocking. Those books.
He's really underrated. I feel like a lot of people won't give him a try.
Yeah.
Because, and I was guilty of this too, is they assumed that he was, what's the phrase that people use? Chick-lit.
Oh yeah,
he's chick-lit, and it was one of those things. Like I kind of had assumed that as well, because I saw Empire of the Vampire, the American version. Yeah, it's got a vampire, sexy vampire in the front without a shirt on. I was like, I wonder what kind of book this is.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't give it a try until Mark over at Slowly Read was really, really high on it.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And then I went and read the Nevernight trilogy, and I loved it too. And then I talked to Jay, and he's just like one of the most awesome guys on the planet. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to read anything this guy writes. And, the Vampire series is very cool, because for me, it was like I grew up reading like Anne Rice and Salem's Lot and Dracula. I was like, I miss vampires being scary, man. This is really, really cool. Yeah. And they can be sexy too, but they can also be scary. I like when they treat you like lunch first, and an object second. So it was really cool for that, I think. And I hope more people will give Jay Kristoff a try.
Yeah, I do too.
More guys will give Jay Kristoff a try. Put that way. Yes, he writes very erotic scenes because he's very good at it. But it's definitely for both genders. I think we'll be happy reading Jay Kristoff.
Oh yeah,
there's plenty in there for everybody.
I agree.
You feel like his books are too edgy? Someone said they're too edgy, and I'm like, yeah, they are, but they're so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think they're so good, and I love all the made up cussery. All the words
The
that he comes
combination
up
is
with.
great. Like some of the cuss words, I'm like, man, this is impressive work.
Yes.
It really, really is. But I think Berserk is a little too edgy too,
Yeah,
and I love
that's
that.
pretty
You
true.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't think
that
being
is.
edgy is a bad thing, if
Yeah.
you do it right.
Yeah, it can be a very good thing, especially, to stand out from a lot of the other stuff for sure. I agree. Um, so I also know that obviously you love Stephen King, but
A little bit.
I've always wondered, like going way back when you were young Mike, what was like what was the first fantasy books that you got into?
I mean, I think most of us come out of the womb reading The Hobbit, right? So we did The Hobbit in sixth grade.
Yeah.
I guess Treasure Island. I don't know if you really consider that. We read that one
Mhm.
in school. Watership Down was one of
Oh
my
yeah,
very,
Watership
very
Down.
first fantasy books.
Mhm.
And that's such a trick, because they make it, oh, it's cute, fluffy bunnies. This must be fun. That is a horror story of a book, man. It's like, holy crap. So I think that was like one of the first instances where I read, like Warring Clans and
Oh yeah.
Adaptations and stuff. And it was
Mhm.
just done with fluffy bunnies. I thought
Yeah.
that was kind of a trick, but man,
It was.
what a great story.
I agree.
But yeah, it's Tolkien, I think, and then I think I got into Shannara,
Oh yeah.
when
Yeah.
Shannara first, because I'm old enough to be like, hey, I was alive when Shannara first came out, before there was like 40 something books, and my brother being like, dude, this is just such a Lord of the Rings ripoff. I was like, I'll take a Lord of the Rings ripoff.
Yeah,
I
right.
want more, right? So. And that first book was very much like Terry Brooks just saying, I'm going to just replace these character names and tell the same story. And then he kind of did his own thing. And I think he
Yeah.
gets a bad rep for that. But I give Terry Brooks a lot of credit for bringing fantasy back in the 80s because it was on life support.
Yeah.
And that's what we get like every 20 years or so. We get these videos now, is fantasy dying? It's like, no, fantasy's not dying. It's just there's different things that are popular, and the publishers are always going to chase what's popular. And right now, it's not stuff that 46-year-old men really care to read, I don't think.
No.
I mean, if you do, if you're into romantasy and you're a 46-year-old man, that's great. That's awesome.
Right.
For me, as long as you're reading, it's all good. I don't care what it is. Like, when everybody was busting everybody's chops for reading Twilight, I was like, I'm just glad people are reading, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But romantasy is kind of, you go into a Barnes and Noble right now, it's like, it's easy to see why I'm getting a lot more into indie publishing because they're still writing the kind of fantasy I enjoy.
Oh yeah. Indie's awesome, man. It's so good. I want to try to catch up on all Ryan's Cahill's books before the new one comes out because I've only read the first one and the first two novellas. So I got
I wish that Ryan had finished writing book 4 in that series before Wind and Truth came out, because now I feel like he's saying, oh, I've got to compete with Sanderson and write a longer book.
He's got to make it to 2,000 pages.
Yeah. He told me when he was here, he's like, oh, it's going to be like 460,000 words. I'm like, that's
necessary,
Ryan.
That's insane, man. Because I mean, War and Ruin looks huge. How many pages is that?
Man, I don't even remember. It was, I think I read most of it on Kindle just because I was on a trip. And I was like, I'm not taking that brick with me. So I read it on my Kindle. And I think it was like 1,600 pages or something on the Kindle. It was long, but it was somehow you read it really quick. I read it quicker than I read Wind and Truth. So
I remember you saying it was a quick read.
He's a really, really good writer.
Yeah, for sure.
Josh, first of all, Josh scared the shit out of me at Sam's Club one day, and I'll tell you that story in a second. It's a zero sugar cream soda, just the hard hitting stuff here.
Yeah, oh yeah. I got a zero sugar Coke here, so right there.
Most of my audience obviously is outside of where I live. There's not a lot of it's not like I talk about local things, when you're talking about books, you're just kind of open. At a Sam's Club a couple years ago, or I don't know, it might have been that long ago. I don't know. Days all bleed together now. Guy comes up to me in the store, and honestly, I'd like, oh, guys, is someone like coming up to give me some kind of story, beg for money? That's what happened at Sam's Club. You get some guy telling you about like how he just got out of the hospital. Can he have $5? Blah blah blah. And then he's just shaking hands. Like, I just want to say I'm a big fan. I'm like, of what? He's like, the channel. I'm like, oh, because I just never expected anyone.
Right. Oh yeah.
Kids and stuff. I'm like, oh God, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So it's the first time I met anyone who actually knew me from the channel in person.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But it was really cool. And then my kids are like, "Are you famous?" I'm like, "Hell no." You know? And it's happened one more time since then. It was kind of funny. Wow. I was at a Books A Million, which is just another bookstore they have at the Outlet Mall in Katy, and they have a section there, which again shows me that fantasy is not going the direction that a 46-year-old man cares about. Yeah. There was a section called Book Talk.
Oh, yes.
And I don't do that, but I'm in that section, and some girl comes up like, "Can I take a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Sure." She's like, "I love your YouTube channel." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And my youngest kid's just sitting there like,
"What's happening?
People know who you are?" This is so weird. So it was kind of cool, but also kind of like freaky, you know, because you meet people in the public. I'm like, sometimes you can piss people off doing this, you know, and someone just wants to punch you in the face.
That's very true.
You know, so it's kind of scary. But, you know, then I did the moderating for Christopher and Ryan when they came to town. And that was a lot of fun. And just people that, you know, knew me from the channel. And it was really fun. Really, really fun. But Josh scared me. But also it was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. That's very cool. So Josh is here. We got some more people coming in. Chance, what's up? Rowdy's here. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it.
It was in front of the Book Talk sign, and I don't know if that picture ever got. If they posted that picture, I never got tagged. So, you know, I had a TikTok for like, gosh, I got one for like a year just because I didn't want anybody to take my username that I always use.
Oh yeah,
I just wanted to keep it available. But I tried doing TikTok for a while, and I was like, man, that's just. Every time I get on there, I turn into my parents. I'm like, everything's too loud. This is too bombastic. This is not my. I am very, very. I don't do the comedy sketches. I don't do the weird graphics. I just going to talk about this book I like.
Keep it simple. Like,
that's not my kind of content. So I finally just like deleted it. I was like, this is just too haphazard for me. So.
I get it. I get it for sure. Oh man. So somebody might be on there. Maybe that.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
That Bitcoin's got started a TikTok under your name now, probably.
Man, that was a rough 48 hours, man. That was I think I was more scared about like my identity getting stolen, you know.
But
that
would be too.
That was very, very, very rough times. And if I had any hair left, it would have been gone then. Yeah.
You came through the other side though, man.
Yeah, just
you got out of it.
At this point, guys just don't even engage with anyone that you don't know. Because like I said, I didn't even click anything. I opened an email, man, and got struck. So it's like just be careful.
That sucks. Yeah, you think normally if you open the email, as long as you don't click on any links, you're okay. But nowadays it's like, geez.
I don't know. I still try to think about how it happened. I'm just like, now I'm like, if you aren't some verified user with an email that I recognize, I'm not
opening it. Yep. Yeah. That's the way to do it, man. I agree. Chance, he is unfortunately a Jets fan. He said he knows how it feels with not having any hair from that.
They always find a way to beat the Texans, though, don't they?
Embarrassing.
I hate that. Like, that stadium is so bad. I was like, can CJ Stroud just get like the flu this game? I don't want to get another concussion playing there.
Gosh, I know.
It's a shame to see Aaron Rodgers go out that way, but you should have known it's the Jets. It's just going to happen, man.
No, it was not going to go well.
Yes, that means curse, curse, curse.
Yeah, that's so bad. Yeah, and he's a fan, and he agrees. Really bad stadium. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, I think besides Lions and Texans fans, I feel like the Jets fans got to be just as – when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, like in the first series.
Oh, my gosh, the first
I was like, I'm a Texans fan, and I feel bad for Jets fans. That's how bad it was.
I know. Oh, that was so bad. Oh. And then, this year they're just a hot mess. Ugh. And then I think Timothy Wolf, he's a Giants fan. So they're
it's got to feel great.
The same coin.
And Saquon leave, and all of a sudden he's like MVP of the league. That's got to hurt. That's got to hurt. I always love when a player leaves, and all of a sudden they hit that potential that you always thought they had.
Yeah, he doesn't get hurt.
Maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it was us. Yeah, love that. Gary Kubiak leaves the Texans and wins the Super Bowl with Denver. Like, of course.
Of course. It's all right.
That's how these things always go.
Oh, I know. It is. It's so true. So true.
Nothing can hurt you guys like sports. So if you aren't sports fans, stay that way.
Stay away.
Nothing can hurt you like sports.
Oh, it's so true. Was the worst sports memory that you have? Like the worst thing that happened in a game that just crushed you? What would you put at your top?
Gosh, I grew up in Atlanta.
Okay.
And the Braves went worst to first in 1991.
Mm-hmm. Oh
And
yeah, I remember.
they had the Twins beat in Game 6 and in Game 7, and they blew it in the most ridiculous of ways in both games. And that I cried for like a week after that. I was like 11. I cried so hard. It was the worst. And that's one of those where I look back and I'm like, it was just caught up in the emotions, I think. But
Oh yeah.
man, I was destroyed. I've had my heart broke by sports since, but not like that.
Yeah,
I
not
think
like that, yeah.
when you're young and your whole life the Braves have been
Revolved
terrible,
around it.
all of a sudden they're like one inning away from winning a World Series, and to lose it like that
takes it all away. I know.
Devastating. Devastating.
I think
I don't think any of us can compare with Brian. He's a Minnesota Vikings fan, so he knows that pain.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think my worst. I had a lot of them with the Lions through the years, but I think I'm a Michigan fan, and I when I was a kid, my dad had season tickets, and I was at the Colorado versus Cordell Stewart with the Hail Mary. Do you remember that back in the day? I remember standing up and like everybody's cheering because it's just the last play, and then when that happened, like it was so quiet in that stadium, you could hear the Colorado players on the field like screaming and celebrating, and then like walking back to our car and all the Colorado fans just like heckling everybody. Oh, that was rough, man. That was probably
I'm a UGA fan, so for a long time there it was like, well, we're never going to beat Nick Saban,
Right,
it finally happened, so you get there sometimes. But I've got so much respect for the Michigan Ohio State rivalry.
Oh yeah,
I love just great rivalries. Auburn, Alabama. I just watched the documentary, the Lakers and Celtics. That's obviously a big one, but
oh yeah,
Michigan OSU, that is nasty. And it's like
something
I've
else.
had so many Michigan fans this year, like, I don't even care if the team was terrible this year. We beat Ohio State. It's a successful season. I'm like, it really is all they care about. Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, if it's going to be a down season, if you can at least do that, then I can handle it.
That's something. That's vicious. Like
it is, man. It's bad. It's
anytime I watch one of these post-apocalyptic or read a post-apocalyptic book, and they're talking about how after the fall, like the United States broke in these territories, every single one of them, I'm like, if Texas isn't independent, and if Michigan and Ohio are together, it's not accurate.
Yeah, right. That wouldn't happen.
Never aligned together.
So true. Oh man, that's a good point. Oh man. So I was gonna ask too. So when you first, what made you decide? I know you said that you kind of looked around and you thought people aren't reading like they used to. I want to do something different than the sports podcast stuff. Like when you first started out, how did that experience all go for you? Like, did you find some ground right away, or did you like have like some laws where you're like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this? Like,
I mean, I still have those. With me, it was like I said, happy accident. Because the thing was, like, I decided I was going to read Wheel of Time, and I just thought I'll just make like these little video diaries kind of thing. Because like I said, I didn't know BookTube was a thing.
Yeah.
I'll just make these little video diaries. So I remember if I take long breaks, I can go back to remember what happened in each book. Because at the time I thought, I was really excited about the TV show, which is hilarious in hindsight. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just stay ahead of the show. That'd been my plan. Then I liked it. I just kept going. And then this thing blew up. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to go read the whole series now.
Yeah.
But I just recorded those and uploaded them. And then I noticed, I never get like 300 comments on a video on YouTube. What's going on? And that's when I realized everybody's saying, you got to check out this channel and that channel. I'm like, what are you talking about? People talk about books on YouTube? I had no clue, whatsoever.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I tried other things and people were still watching it, commenting on it, it was like surprising. And I mean, it's kind of cute to think back on. But at the time I was like, I got 2,000 subscribers in my first year of doing this. That was like pie in the sky kind of stuff to me back then. Yeah. I had no idea. And then the only silver lining for me out of COVID was people were home and people were looking for something to do. And a lot of people picked up Wheel of Time, or they just picked up reading in general, and they found the channel and it kind of took off from there. But yeah, I've had, it's peaks and valleys. I tell creators all the time, it's peaks and valleys. You'll have really, really good months, and then you'll just crickets, because I don't think anybody except some of the bigger ones have figured out the algorithm, because every time you think you figure it out, it changes.
It's just,
and for me, it's like I was doing well, and then that hack happened, and I'm just I don't show up in anyone's feed anymore, and it's like I keep waiting for it hopefully to turn around.
Yeah.
It don't. So I think I said today, I feel like that set me back about 2 years. That's clearly what it feels like for real. But one of those things where I feel like I built a pretty good community. I wanted to create a positive community because it just you've been on Twitter, it's just everything's agree with me or die. So I wanted to start like the idea of, hey, we can disagree on these books and still talk about them and still be pals afterwards. That's kind of the environment I want to create. And I feel like I've done that. So I'm happy. And every time you start feeling down about it, and you'll have someone message you and send me some 3-page letter in the mail, handwritten, about how I changed their life or helped them get off drugs or something. That's the most incredible thing you can hear.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, man.
But I have doubts all the time about maybe this has run its course. I have those all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good that even someone who's had success still has those moments. So that's good.
Oh, all the time. All the time.
So Josh asked a good question here. I don't know if you have like a video coming up that you don't want to
cannot reveal this yet, Josh. It was like Johan over at Library of Viking. I had to decline his invitation because I like, brother, you're spoiling everyone's book of the year 3 weeks early. I like to do that, like the last week of December or whatever.
I know.
But I mean, it's close right now. I feel like it's either Shogun or Blackwater. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
I don't really think I can pick, and I haven't decided yet. It feels like it's one of those two. And maybe the second half of Wind of Truth blows me away, and I was like, well, sheesh, there we go. So you never know.
Right.
You never know. But right now it feels like one of those. What about you?
Yeah. Mine is definitely, so I'll show you, because I finished this like in January, but I finished First Law.
Oh, nice.
So that's my favorite. But I mean, I really love the Empire of the Dan was really good. I started reading through Sun Eater, so I'm actually reading Demon in White right now, and that's really good.
Very good.
So I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but I would say that one just because Abercrombie's my favorite, so that one for sure.
Yeah, it's hard. When you start going back and actually looking at everything, and I think, I'm sure I can whittle down my top 10 easily. And I'm like, it's a pretty good year, because my first glance through Goodreads, I was like, wow, I'm at 26. So some years,
little high.
Had those years where it's like, I had a lot more misses than hits. This year, it's the opposite. I've had a lot of really, really good ones.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't read Shogun, but I know that you really liked it.
It's if it clicks for you, it's really click for you. I love Stranger in a Strange Land. That's a style that I really dig, and I think the Club Bell does it better than anyone. You feel like you are the main character there. You don't understand anything that they're saying. From his point of view, you're looking at them as savages, and it's funny as you see it from their point of view, and they're looking at him as a savage. It's really well done. It's a very long book, very long.
Yeah,
and I split it up over 3 months, and I'm glad I did it that way. Because I really was I was trying to stay there where I would be fresh for when the TV series came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which turned out great. And I feel vindicated for that, for hyping that up for a year before it came out. And I was very, very happy with how it was done. And I love the book. It was very good. But it's not going to be something for everybody. A lot of people will be like, it's too slow and boring. I mean, because it is a lot of slice of life. It is a lot about the culture and trying to adapt to it. But I love it. I love stuff like that. Just good old character. I mean, a lot of people get mad that it doesn't have like these big battles and stuff. And it's like, that's never what the book was about.
Right.
It's definitely about a character study of John Blackthorne. And
so
if you love it, you're going to love it. If you love that format, you're going to go crazy for it. But it's definitely not going to be something I say, this will be a hit with you no matter what. Like I do with Lonesome Dove or Pillars of the Earth, where I'm like, that'll be a hit with everybody.
Yeah.
This one probably won't be a hit with everybody.
Okay. I was lucky and snagged one of those really nice, the black hardcover before. Before they disappeared. So I was glad I snagged one of those. Molly just came in. What's up, Molly McCall?
Hey, Molly, how are you? I just started following her on Twitter recently.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
But she seems really, really awesome.
She is. Yeah, her book's pretty fun. Dark Bloom, little zombie apocalyptic book. It's a good read for sure.
Are making zombies scary? Well, I don't think they ever made zombies sexy, did they?
No, I don't know.
Maybe it's got a little bit of oversaturation. It's like after Walking Dead blew up, it was like there was this like zombie stuff everywhere. But I feel like that's vampires, werewolves, zombies, something horror related. They'll never get old to me. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like with zombies, what happened was they started to become not as scary just because they would always be in the background. And I feel like everything started focusing more on the people in that world, and it's like, man, zombies are still scary.
Man, I don't think I ever saw a show drop off as fast as
Mm.
Walking Dead. People will say Game of Thrones. I was like, no, 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 because Walking Dead was like on top of the world, and like
Oh yeah,
literally overnight, it was like
yeah,
dead. And I was like, what happened, man?
yeah.
So that's wild to kind of think
I
about.
know. I
The
agree.
Walking
Yeah,
Dead was like the water cooler show, and then like
yeah.
I couldn't even be bothered to finish it. It's incredible.
Mhm.
And I read the comic, and I couldn't even be bothered to finish the show.
I
I read
know.
the whole comic.
Yeah, me too.
It's wow.
What'd you think of the way the comic ended?
It's fine. It wouldn't been the way that I would have went, but
Yeah,
I admire Kirkman for doing his own thing. You
yeah.
know,
Yep, yep,
I said I would have went with a different direction, but I've definitely
yeah.
seen worse.
Oh yeah, for
Definitely,
sure.
it definitely could have went worse.
Yep, yep. I agree. We got some more people coming in. Dr. L, Novel Insights, what's up? Bretton, I saw you earlier and didn't shout you out. Thanks for being here, man. Chris from Unlimited Reads, what's up, man? Thanks for being here. All right. Yeah, I'd say, I'm trying to remember. I watched longer than that, but I do feel like after that it started to kind of
Seemed like after the whole Negan Glenn thing, most people like tapped out after
Yeah.
that, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was fine after that, but they
Yeah.
definitely it was a slow death.
It
And I
was.
did notice like everyone else bailed like almost overnight. It was wild.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. Invincible. Have you watched the animated?
I haven't, but I've heard some
yeah,
really awesome things
it's
about
really
it.
good. Did you read that one? The comic for that? Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, he does Superman superheroes good. That's a really good one. JCM, by the way, Joe, what's up? Have you read Joe's The Wistful Ascending? His superhero
I
book?
have not, but I think we do talk on Twitter sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Those are good. I read the first one. It's really good. A lot like Invincible. It's pretty cool.
Man, all the people that have sent me books, I feel so bad.
Oh,
I wish I could read them all. It's like I wish that I could get that point where if you could pay me the salary that I get from my real job and my retirement and my insurance and my 401k,
I know.
you know, then I would do this full time. I really would.
I know. Can you imagine getting paid all that and just being able to read all day and
Just
make
to read
content?
all day? That would be amazing. I'd love it.
I know. There's just there's so many. I know, especially once you find indie, you know.
If some rich viewer out there wants to do that for me, I would do that for you.
I would do that for anybody. So yeah, reciprocate, right?
No, like I feel awful sometimes. I'm just like,
I know.
I mean, Philip. I consider Philip a real life friend, and I only read one of his 3 books. You know, I feel bad.
Yeah, I know. He's getting a lot of praise for. I think I saw somebody put out a thing. They were looking up popular authors.
Yeah,
right now.
Philip was messaging me about it. He was like, I don't know how this happened. I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna let you know when I was first hyping up Christopher Rocchio, I was like, that's how it happened.
Yeah.
And look at now, he's at Nexus Dragonsteel, and he's got a 2.5-hour line. So I was like, it happens fast, Philip.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Good for him. Couldn't happen to a better guy. Philip's just great.
Oh yeah,
really, really great human.
Yeah, yeah, he's awesome. I got one of the broken binding editions of
nice.
Way of the Dance. So
very nice. Excited
to see how that looks. I'm gonna be reading that one very soon. Alex is here. Thanks for being here, Alex. And the writers probably feel the same way. Indie writers, right? If they could get paid enough, they would write faster.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. But yeah, with indie books, I feel like it makes it even harder because there was already a million books I wanted to read that were traditionally published. Then you find indie, you find all this good stuff, and now it's like it doubles it up. Now there's even more books that you want to read, you know? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's tough, and like I say, I feel bad because I want to read everybody's books, and I want to help out a lot of authors I've encountered that are really, really awesome people. It's just rough sometimes. Like, so how do some of these like get lucky? I was like, it's just right timing. I mean, like Mike Shackle, the Last War series.
Oh yeah,
that's out on my shelf for 3 years, guys, before I finally got to it. You know, so it's rough. It's rough.
That is good. I just read I reread the first one, but that. I got to read the other 2 because that was really good. The first one.
Oh yeah, Last War is great.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's like if there's a series that was made for First Law fans, that's it, man.
It is really very, very similar. I agree for sure. You mentioned your day job, so I did because you mentioned it a little bit, like, but I never know quite sure what you do. So.
It's a lot of boring spreadsheets and stuff like that, and it's just being a bean counter, you know, and just playing with my abacus. And
got the abacus out.
But I work on a lot of boring financial risks management stuff, and it's just a lot of forecasting, which is stuff that you see me bringing in my own channel, where I'm looking at things, where I'm planning things out, and it's one of those where it's like, hey, it pays the bills, and it's very, very boring to anyone who doesn't work in it, because it's boring to me, and I work in it, But I'm not going to bore people with stuff like that, but it's just like there's a reason I put everything that I do on an Excel spreadsheet, like everything.
Yeah, you are a spreadsheet guy. Yeah.
What chores do I need to get done over the holiday? Okay, well, I'm going to put these on a spreadsheet. Look at the best way to do that. Yeah. What order should I do these in?
Oh yeah.
Well, Josh, you got my address. I could use some of these holiday beers that we've had. I'm not very much of a beer drinker. Once I did keto, it was like, dude, I get drunk so fast now. So I kind of quit drinking mostly because I would rather chew glass than vomit. And I was like, I haven't vomited over beer since I was in my 20s. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So I tried to stop kind of drinking, but like Christmas time, that beer that you can only get certain times a year.
Oh, yeah.
Here in Texas, we have a brewery called Shiner, which is a flagship. Yeah. And they have a beer called Holiday Cheer that I just love.
Oh, I've always wanted to try
that. But there's another one. Sierra Nevada makes this beer called Celebration that's just really damn good. And I haven't been able to find any this year. So I was like, next week I was going to plan on trying to just hit up every Specs on the way home and see if I can find the Holiday Cheer, or sorry, the Shiner Sierra Nevada Celebration. So Josh, if you got any of that,
I was going to say, Josh might have to
deliver it, man. Come on, I'll pay you.
So where did you say you have to hit up? Is this like a Texas store? You said Specs?
Specs? Yeah, it's just I'm sorry, I thought Specs was nationwide.
Not by me. I've never heard of it.
It's just a massive, massive liquor store, a chain. If you don't want to go to the mom and pop shops, if you're looking for some things that you've never seen before, that's probably the place to go.
Oh man, I'll have to see if there is one somewhere around, because we just have the mom and pops places around me.
Yeah, St. Arnold makes a good Christmas ale. You're right.
Oh man, I gotta try to find these. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, when it's the microbreweries here, I don't know how much those go. I know I have seen some people saying that they would send me a picture. Hey, we got Shiner Bock up here in the north. I'm like, wow, that's impressive that it made it that far north. Oh, but I don't know if St. Arnold's made that far yet.
He said he lives in New York City, and he said
Sierra Nevada is that's nationwide, but Shiner's not. Shiner Holiday.
Yeah, I've never been able to get Shiner. But I've always wanted to try
Sierra Nevada Celebration. That's a really good Christmas beer. I don't think Sierra Nevada can make a bad beer. I've never had a beer by them I didn't like. I started with Fat Tire like everyone else and just kind of went from there. I used to drink a lot more than I do now, guys, because I just can't handle it anymore. I used to pride myself on having that Irish blood. It just turned out I was fat. I could drink a lot because I was fat. Once I lost like 84 pounds, it's like, wow, I get drunk off 2 beers now. And that never used to happen.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy. 84 pounds. Man, that's awesome, dude.
Now it's just kind of, once I got to a certain weight, it was just like, okay, I'm just fine with just maintaining. Right. I'm at the part now where you need to actually lift weights and do sit-ups. Nah, I'm not crazy about that stuff. So I'm cool with just sitting here at this weight and just being fine.
You'll be fine there, right?
I am below the ridiculous BMI index, so I can actually.
Hey, that's a win.
I'm not considered obese anymore, so that's good enough for me. Yeah, but over the holidays, it's rough. It's rough because if you guys work in an office, it's like every day there's donuts, there's cookies, there's candy. It's rough.
Oh,
it's
man.
rough. But then, like I said, the holiday beers is the only time of year you can get them. It's a hard time.
It's a hard time.
Thankfully, there's a lot of meat out there, and I'm a carnivore on these things. And they'll keep you full.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So do you gain a little weight during this time? And
then
you know what's gonna happen?
Sure. There's things that my wife, her family's from up north. Mm-hmm. And she makes these things called Buckeyes, which Michigan fan, you're probably like,
they are really good. I've had
basically peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate, guys. It's like a homemade Reese's peanut butter cup.
They're so good.
You can bite them and feel the cavities coming, but man, it's so good. It's so good. And yeah, it's hard not to gain weight this time of year, but it's like try not to gain 20 pounds over the holidays.
I know.
But it's hard.
It is. Do you make a spreadsheet for that?
I should. I feel like what I do for that is I say, okay, well, I got rid of all my fat clothes. And I'm like, once the work clothes get tight, time to stop. Time to
I
get
don't
back
have
to
any other clothes yet.
that's now I keep myself on a strict limit there.
Oh man. Yeah, as a sports fan, did you have a bunch of like really nice expensive jerseys and stuff you had to get rid of?
I still got a lot of them. I just kind of keep them in the closet.
It'd be hard to get rid of those.
It's too hard in Texas really to wear a jersey. It's too hot. I'm sorry, it's too
Oh
hot.
yeah, that's
It's
true.
too hot in Houston really to wear sports jerseys.
Right.
So they're more for
That's
looks
true.
for anything. But yeah, the weirdest thing for me is I also am like a big time sneakerhead. And when you lose that much weight, people don't tell you lose weight in your feet.
Oh yeah.
And I went down a half size in my shoes.
Yeah,
that was painful.
Sucks. Yeah.
That was painful having to get rid of some of my Nikes, just to get replacements and stuff. So that was pretty painful. But
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. It tells you that you lose weight in your head and your feet.
Yeah, my hats
like my fitted hats didn't fit anymore. It was crazy. And I look at pictures now, I'm like, how was I carrying that much weight on my face? I don't even understand. Yeah, it's wild.
I know that picture you put up in that video. Like it didn't even look like it. It was crazy.
And the thing about that was how fast it happened.
Yeah.
Me and my wife said we were going to go hardcore on it. It was like 8 weeks. I was like, holy crap, we already hit our goals. It was crazy. So yeah, your body is like shocked.
Yeah.
If you dedicate to yourself to it, it's tough. It's tough. But who knew the secret to quitting sugar was just don't have sugar.
Yeah, just don't have it. Right?
After that hump, like go through you're like you need to go to like rehab or something and to fight the urges, and then you're fine. Once you get past the shakes in the first 48 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that takes a minute. Oh man. So how many shoes do you have? Because I know, or how many like sneaker shoes, I guess.
I'd be guesstimating around 60. I don't know.
Oh man, that's awesome.
But I'm not a brand loyalist. I have Nike. I love Puma. I got lots of Puma. I even have some Reeboks. I got some Adidas. Which my kid always corrects me. It's Adidas. I'm like, yeah, but everyone calls it Adidas. Deal with it.
Adidas.
I think I've got like my whole life. I was like, I just wanted a pair of Jordans. Now I got like 12 pairs of Jordans.
You have 12 Jordans?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh man.
The Air Jordan 1. I think I have one for every color.
That's sweet.
It's the best shoe of all time. But awesome. I got a couple Air Force Ones. But yeah, Puma, I love like their activewear more so than their shoes.
Oh yeah.
But that's one of those. It's just I'm allowed to wear sneakers in my office, so
that's pretty cool.
I just kept like I got one to match every single color polo I have now.
Oh man, that's awesome.
That's the easy way to dress for work. It's jeans, polo, and matching sneakers.
You can't beat that. Yeah, I'm a teacher at a high school. I have to wear khakis, but we can wear tennis shoes. So I have some Dunks that I wear.
I don't know what Sambas are. Is that a brand or is that what is Sambas?
That sounds familiar.
Is that a brand or is that
Logan,
like
tell us what Sambas are. I'm not sure either.
If that's Nikes, I've never heard of them. Adidas, no.
Adidas Sambas.
Adidas. I just have like just the traditional. The white with the 3 black stripes and the black with the 3 white stripes. That's all I needed really from Adidas. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are coming back with the high school kids.
I love them. And because my oldest actually he got his Jordans and he was happy with that, but he also asked for a pair of those Adidas, those white.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, man, I would have never asked my parents for white tennis shoes. Wild.
I know, that's all what they want. White tennis shoes, white Crocs. It's
I talked about my wife brought this up when we were first dating, and she was like, "You notice everything goes in like 30-year cycles." Like, what do you mean? She's like, "Well, in the '80s, we were nostalgic for the '50s, and it's like, look in the 2010s, we were nostalgic for the '80s." And so now she's telling me like all the kids are wild about stuff from the '90s now, and I'm like, "Wow!" She's telling me that Jinkos are coming back. Jinkos are coming back. Mullets. Apparently mullets are coming back. I'm like,
yes, they are, man.
And it's not ironic. It's really like on purpose. They're growing.
Yes.
She's like,
there's a bunch of kids with mullets at the high school I work at. And I'm like, what is happening? It is.
So if you're telling me in like 6 years, they're going to be doing like all the stuff we did at Y2K, I'm like, I can't believe it. A boy band's going to come back. What's the haps?
I know. Get ready.
It's crazy. Mullet, man. I had some bad stuff that I did in the 80s. You look back and be like, what was I thinking? Like the side spike. I had the rat's tail, but I never did the mullet thing. That was just too much for me.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, the rat tail. I think that's still not popular, though.
He got his mullet permed. Holy crap. That's dedication right there.
Oh gosh,
I
yeah.
did Novel Insights. I had Vision skatewear. I had some of those in the 80s.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah.
big time Vision. Outside, I think I did some Airwalks before.
Oh, Airwalks. Yeah, I forgot about those.
Everybody, I think you basically, if you were a rocker, you had a pair or three of Chuck Taylors. I had Chuck.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty much all I wore in
for
high
sure.
school was Chuck Taylors because I was poor, and at the time Chuck Taylors weren't hipster yet, so they were like $20, and they lasted all 4 years of high school. You know, so yeah, I had my Chuck Taylor.
That was the time to get them. Dang. Andrew, I know. The way I get them is I actually donate plasma. So I buy my books with literally blood money.
Hey, what's up, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy was in here.
I know. He said he said every time he sees someone with a mullet, he assumes they lost.
That's what I thought. My wife said, no, they're not doing it to be ironic. They're just full on, just like they're doing it on purpose. I'm like, wow, really? I cannot believe it. I can't know. That's one thing I thought we would look back on, like we do, like with 70s clothes, and be like, yeah, that's never happening again. You know, that didn't hit a 30-year cycle, 70s clothes, but it's like I just thought that mullets were in that same department. It was like something that'll never come back, and that's wild to me.
I know
doing this.
It is. It's something else, man. It's crazy. It's wild the things that come back around, like you said. It does.
Oh yeah, I had the little checker vans, the little slip-on vans.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember the checkered ones.
Yeah, I had those.
Yeah. Alex is scared. He's in high school right now. But Alex, you got to get one too, man.
Yeah, do it, man. Come on, peer pressure. Go for it.
Next time we do a live, man, I want to see you.
I don't know if Brian's still here, but he actually sent me a picture of back in the day when.
He had one, right?
He had a beautiful mullet. Yeah. He had like a full on like early 1990s WCW mullet.
He did. That's awesome. I could see him rocking that for sure.
I don't know if I got a picture of that, Andrew. We had an old video when I cut it off. We had a video. That thing was like this long, and we cut it off.
It was that long.
It was gross. Like looking back, I'm like, how was that ever like a trendy thing?
Oh yeah, but you know when you had it, you looked in the mirror before you left, and you were like, "Oh yeah,
it's looking fly today, baby." Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, I love stuff like that. My dad had a mullet in the 80s, and I'm like, oh god.
I know. That's what I mean.
Your dad was in the 80s. Oh my gosh. I would get that comment once in a while.
The youngin.
I'll be like, oh, I love this guy. It reminds me of my dad. And I'm just like, I mean, first, I'm glad that you're that young and you had that kind of relationship with your dad and you read. But geez, it's just, or I see a Reddit thread. It's like, hey, what are some good older booktubers? And I'm always the first name that comes up. I'm like, great. That's what I'm known as now, the older booktuber.
Dang it.
Oh, Andrew, I never ever had a bowl cut.
Bowl cut. I didn't either. Oh, Andrew, you're gonna have to show us a picture of that next video you make, man. John,
I mean, honestly, if you're in your 40s and you can't go back and find some of your pictures of yourself when you were younger and not want to punch yourself in the face, you probably didn't have a good childhood. Just saying. You had to make those mistakes early, so you wouldn't make them now. You know,
for sure. Oh, rock the chili bowl.
A lot of people had the bowl cut apparently. Yeah. No, I never did. I did the side part. I did the middle part.
Oh yeah.
But I did the side spike. That was a thing.
Oh yeah,
early 90s. That was pretty rad. Did full spike, but never. Basically, after a while, it was like I just don't want to put anything in my hair anymore. When I moved to Houston, I was like, it's too hot to use hair product.
I can't imagine, man.
So I just grew it long and just didn't worry about it. It was great.
Oh, for sure. Oh man,
John, you done dunking on people about Mass Effect? There were some bad Mass Effect takes on the timeline today. I saw, and good for you for because that was dumb stuff that I saw. But you know, John seems to find the lowest common denominator on Twitter and he just dunks on them. And hey, good for you, man. Good for you.
Yes, that is true. He's always entertaining. That is for sure.
Notice a lot of people will tell me like, man, Mike, you're like so positive and chill on your channel, but on Twitter, you're vicious. I'm like just about sports. Yeah, when it comes to sports, I'm a maniac.
Oh, Brian must still be on here. He said hi to John. So
hey, Brian, I noticed you were missing during the mullet conversation.
We were talking about mullets.
I know you have lots of stuff, lots of feedback to give.
Yeah.
I bet Brian was that type that used like a full can of like Aquanet hairspray. Aquanet. You remember that? It was like 90 cents and you could get a can like this big. You always knew when someone walked in the room that was using Aquanet because like, whew.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, Brian. We were talking about mullets, about how you had that sweet
Yes.
1990s WCW mullet.
Oh man. Crazy.
Nagasaki? I'm dropping. What does that mean? Nagasaki takes.
I think he's dropping such big bombs. It's like Nagasaki.
Oh, the bomb.
Yeah.
And the thing was, it's just with sports. I'll get vicious with sports. I still won't be like absolutely rude to people,
Right.
unless they're being an idiot. But I still I don't want to. It doesn't cost anything to be kind, but I will. My takes on sports is like it will be unfiltered, and I'll tell you what I think about them for sure.
Oh yeah. I feel like you got to be that with sports. Like that's part of the fun is the banter and the rivalries and going back and forth. You can't take it too serious.
Jeremy, I tell people all the time, it's like I know I'm a hard follow for some people because a lot of people follow me just for book stuff and they don't care about sports.
Right.
A lot of people care about sports stuff. And they don't care about books. I'm like,
yeah.
Look, what you see is what you get here, And
well, it works, man. It works.
I'd like to visit Australia one day. You guys also have like the draconian lockdown stuff going, do you? I hope not, because I know one of my patrons was like talking about like how he wasn't even like allowed to walk his dog during lockdown.
That's wild
and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe I'll wait to go there. But I was talking to Jay, and he was like, dude, he's like, Australia is, or he what he told me was that Texas was like Australia south of the America. He said it's so. I was like, yeah, where everything likes to kill you. I'm not in that part of Texas, Jay, where everything wants to kill you. That's West Texas. But yeah, I knew what he meant.
Oh yeah, they got some spiders there. That's for sure.
Hey, awesome. It's just Canada now that's still draconian. Okay, cool.
That's good.
Now I've heard like the UK is like locking people up now for like having bad tweets or something. I'm like,
what?
Yeah. I think we're taking these things a little too seriously.
Yeah,
like Orwell's like reading the book 2024, and I was like, what the hell,
This is way worse than what I envisioned.
Social media has just gotten so wild. You think about it, it's just like that should have been the thing that like brought us together as a people. And I've met some great people on social media. Yeah, I really have.
Yeah. Right.
But it's just like, man, I just never. I think back to. It's about 10 years ago now when it was, what color is this dress? You remember that? What color is this dress? Is it a blue dress or is it
blue or gold? Yeah.
That to me, everybody talks about Harambe. For me, that was the moment when social media went completely nasty. Before that was like, show me some funny cat pictures. We'd argue about who has the best barbecue or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just turned into like, I will slit your mother's throat. And it's like, when did this happen? And I think that was the moment when people could not agree about what color that dress was. And I remember that day I came home with my wife and I was like, can you believe people are saying this dress is that color? And she's like, it is that color. I'm like, are you serious?
Mine was the same way. My wife did the same thing. Okay, what color did you see?
God, I can't remember now. I can't remember. I don't know.
I thought it was blue.
Yeah, let me pull up the picture and see. I can tell you right now, but whatever it was, I thought for sure my wife was pranking me, and it was wild.
Yeah, my wife thought for sure it was gold. I'm like, oh my gosh.
But that seemed to be the point where, I felt like everyone just went. So to me, it's black and blue.
Yep, that's what I saw too. John says it was white.
Of course he does. Of course. Go for sure. So it was just like, I thought it was interesting that, okay, how is this happening? I was more interested in that, where everybody else was just like ready to get into a knife fight about it. I'm like, what is going on?
I know. It was wild, man. It was crazy. I agree. Man.
But like I said, I've met some great people off of social media. So I'm not going to just be one of those people who's just like, oh, Twitter's a cesspool. I think Twitter, I feel like is what you make it now. There's you can block words, you can block people, you can mute things. It's just like, I think it really, for me, is just don't ever click that For You tab and you're safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I remember I was like, after the election, I was like, people aren't as crazy about the election this time. And then I clicked the For You tab. I was like, oh, there it is. There it all is. Okay. It's like, so all I'm calling is a bunch of book accounts, and sports accounts. So that's all I was seeing.
Yep. Yeah. Same.
And, so again, that just shows with Twitter, it's just like, you can tailor it to what you want it to be.
Yeah. I agree.
So I'm good with that. Now I can't do anything with like Facebook or Instagram. Then you're just going to see what you're going to see there. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You're stuck with whatever is on there then, for sure. Jeremy says, come down, he'll buy our first beer.
Oh yeah, I need to. Jay's been telling me to come on down. Yeah, that's a bucket list thing going down under. I think.
Heck yeah.
Ireland and Australia, I think, are my bucket list places that are mostly safe.
Oh yeah.
It's like I love to go to Egypt, and I'm like, is it safe? Is it safe to go to Egypt? I don't even know. I'd love to see the pyramids. I don't even know these things. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Where have you traveled overseas to so far?
Haven't. Never left the mainland.
Me neither. Me neither.
I've
been to Mexico.
I've been to Mexico. We do the Caribbean stuff like all the time.
Your cruises.
I spent some quick time in Canada just for a business meeting. So I guess you could say I've been to Canada, but not really saw anything. It was just for a business meeting. I think we landed in Michigan and drove up to Toronto. I don't even remember where it was. Somewhere in Canada. Anyway, it's a big country, but no, I never actually left the mainland. It's very, very sad.
I hear you. I'm the same way. Someday, for sure. Oh, let's see. I just saw something on here I was going to pull up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I try to, what I say, actually in my bio, I think it says on Twitter, like trying to bring some positivity to this app, sport, and then I say that, and then I'm just like railing on why the NBA sucks now,
Oh man,
so like positive interactions, but sometimes we'll talk about why does this movie suck? Why are they ruining this gaming franchise? Stuff like that. I'll still do that like everybody does, but
oh yeah. Like, so how's your gaming going now that your son's getting into gaming? That probably cuts into your own gaming time. Huh?
Yeah, it sucks. I was like, we were all four of us in this house were gamers, and that makes it tough. Because everybody just, I will buy, like I don't know if he's listening at the door. I bought him Elden Ring for Christmas because he thinks he's like the best gamer ever. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's see what happens when you turn the challenge to 11, buddy. And I'm going to record that because I want to see tears. I want to see him cry. Anyway, so it's like I'll say these things and then I'll buy these games I know he wants to play, and I never get to play them. I never get to play anything because they're always playing them.
I know.
There you go. But it's cool. It's cool. I've had sometimes I've been playing Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. That's fun, because it's all the old games that we love.
Yeah.
The new Indiana Jones game is awesome.
I want to play that.
Phenomenal. It's just phenomenal.
It's first person, right?
Yeah, but I thought that would be a problem, but it's not.
But it's cool.
It really feels like an indie game. But cool. It felt like I said, it feels like the fourth indie movie that we've always deserved and never gotten. I don't feel like.
Well, that's good.
And Cyberpunk, I'm finally playing Cyberpunk. I waited until it was fixed, and it's a really great game now.
Yeah, me too. So, it's actually what we thought it would be in the beginning.
They did the No Man's Sky. They stuck with all the criticism and they fixed it. Now I think they're putting out one more big patch, and then they're doing Witcher 4.
Yeah.
So I think that was announced. So it was like,
that's pretty exciting. Yeah,
I too played the end of Witcher 3 and all the download content, and I was like, and I know how popular this game is. I don't believe for a second you guys are done with this.
No. Oh, for sure. I agree.
And also the people that are like, oh, I can't believe they're making Ciri the main character. It's like, did you guys read the books? Those books are all about Ciri. Geralt just kind of there. That's like the big misconception about the Witcher books is that they're about Geralt.
Yeah. No.
They're not. They're not about Geralt.
Yeah, I know. How far did you get into those?
I think book 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was about as far as I got. I was like, it's just not for me. I don't think.
I got into the second one, and it was just kind of, I don't know. Yeah, not the same as the game.
Andrew's opinionated.
Well, we know what
Andrew. I think you quit during the parts that were actually good. I felt like those first 2 short story books were excellent, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So you are planning to have more of The Witcher in your Witcher books, are you not? No, you are not. Okay,
is that gonna happen now? I know.
But the Witcher games are just awesome.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
They're awesome stuff.
Did you play the first 2 at all? I
played Witcher 2 before I played Witcher 3, but I actually never have played the original. I actually, just for like lore sake, I went and watched where like on YouTube where they'll cut together like a movie version of it. And I watched that just for like the storyline and stuff. So, but I never actually went and played it. But yeah, I played 2 when it came out.
That's awesome.
When Witcher 3 came, I never expected it to be that awesome, So
yeah, it's so good. Oops. Oh, yeah, that's true. He said it didn't work out good. Yeah, I know.
And the thing was, like, a lot of people that were watching the show had only played the games, and I understood that. And those games were very, very popular. And while I respected them for trying to make it more like the books, I think the fact that they just refused to make it like the books. Like they just would. You had an A-list actor on that show, and you just wanted to do your own thing so much that you chased him off.
I know.
It's hard to feel bad for you, really.
I know. Ugh. But now he's going to do some Warhammer 40K. I haven't read any books in that yet. Have you ever read any of those books?
I haven't. But I continue to say that Henry Cavill is like the more successful, more handsome version of me. Because he reads nothing but fantasy books.
Yeah.
He likes to just be the guy who goes off a positive vibe about everything. He builds his own computer. I mean, it's like, this guy's one of us. It just makes no sense because you look at him and he doesn't look like one of us.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, he's basically the more successful, more handsome version of me. Yeah, no doubt.
That means you can do the same thing. You're getting there.
I guess. Yeah. Maybe try to grow some hair back. Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's crazy. When you watch him on and when you watch him on live interview things or when there's a bunch of people and they're talking about stuff, it is funny because sometimes he does seem like a little introverted and uncomfortable in like certain groups and stuff, especially if he talks about the nerdy stuff we like and nobody knows what he's talking about. You can tell he's like, these are
like on the Witcher set, he was telling them like what page number this shit happened on. I was like, wow, real fans. It's crazy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think it was like you say it was called Fat Cavill in high school. Like apparently this guy was like a dork and stuff and not attractive. And then he hit the weight room and all of a sudden, boom. And it's just like, wow, okay. That's how it works. Maybe that's what I should have done. That's where I went wrong. I didn't hit the weight room.
Yeah.
or birds with, blessed with great genetics. Yeah.
Now you got to start working out. That's what you got to do.
Cavill's a machine. He's a machine. And it really bums me out because you had the perfect guy to play Superman. You completely squandered that.
I know. He was awesome.
What a waste. What a waste.
Yeah, because you are a comics and DC guy, or you used to be.
I really love all comics. I really do. Too. With me, it's just like I wish that my DC comic stuff had got put in the hands of someone like Marvel got put in the hands of people who loved the material.
Yeah.
Whereas DC's always been in Warner Brothers' hands, who has no idea what they have, like no clue.
Yep.
So really, it's just like I wish that it had gotten the same care and respect and love because like I love Green Lantern, and I was like, what they did with Green Lantern in the movies was like, what in the hell am I looking at? What is this? So it really is. It's not really that I'm a DC guy. Just I wish that I hate that people who know them only from the movies think that it's an inferior product. It's not. Yep. It's not an inferior product. It's been handled so poorly on the screen. Yeah. And Marvel got lucky that they got put in the hands of people who love the material.
Yeah.
Can't say that much now, but for 10 plus years,
long time,
they were on a hell of a run. And I wanted that for DC as well because I do love those properties.
Yeah, me too. And I'm kind of hoping that James Gunn will do something good because I did love Guardians of the Galaxy.
I love some James Gunn movies. I like the Suicide Squad. I love Slither. Remember that movie Slither that he did?
Yeah,
that was really good.
Slither.
The Guardians, to my kids, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, those are their Star Wars. Those are Star Wars. They've watched those movies so much they can recite everything. They could put it on mute. They could even do the soundtrack. They're that good with it. And I love that they have that. I really do. So they're going back every once in a while. We got the ad version of Disney Plus, and we're just watching. They've been watching like all the MCU movies again and stuff. And
nice.
That. Like that is awesome. Glad you guys have that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the DC animated universe is very good, and it's like, why can't we get that writing team on the movies?
I know.
Warner Brothers are morons. They think they know everything, and they know nothing. They know nothing.
I know. It's like if Sony had still been doing Marvel, some of the things they did is crazy.
Oh yeah, because that Kraven the Hunter movie looks like it's gonna be a smash hit. Isn't it?
It's gonna be a smash hit.
They're talking about dropping all the non-Spider-Man villain movies. Like, it took you 3 colossal failures to realize this. These people just fail upwards. It's amazing.
It's wild. Yeah, I know. Oh man, for sure.
Yeah, the people who grew up with the MCU, I always say that.
I know.
For me, it was blatantly obvious in game that was it. It was over. It was all going to be downhill from there. And I understood why people couldn't let it go because if they grew up with it, it's all they knew. They didn't want that party to end. They wanted it to keep going. And now, at the time, they were still like, "Oh no, it's still great." And now they look back and like, "Yeah, it's been pretty much crap since."
Yeah, it hasn't been good.
Thank you. Hate watching.
Hate watching is a thing for sure. What's up, Josh? Thanks for being here, man. Yeah, I know it's a bummer. Yeah, Endgame was awesome, but Yeah, they don't know how bad superhero movies were forever.
Yeah, that's the thing, is when they were like, "Oh, Man of Steel wasn't that good," or "Batman v Superman wasn't that good." I was like, "Man, you guys are spoiled now," because like we would have killed to have stuff like that
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
during the '80s, like the Corman Fantastic Four movie. Holy crap, you guys would cringe at this. Like that's
So
some of the best stuff what we got.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh, I know. Anderson.
Endgame had problems, I think, on the first viewing. It did. It's just, but it still was like a culmination.
Right.
I thought Infinity War was way, way better. I think.
Yeah, Infinity War was really good.
Infinity War was like their Empire Strikes Back. You know, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed watching the good guys lose. You know, that's the thing. Again, like I just talked about, I've always liked the heels. You know, so I want to see the bad guys win sometimes because it made my at the time it made my 5-year-old son cry, and I was like, they're laughing at my 5-year-old son crying because Black Panther just like evaporated. You know, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, that's true. It is hard to see, but yeah, you get used to it once you get older, right?
And that's what people say, like, hate watching. It's like I don't watch these things that I know that they're just like completely ruining it. Like you can't make me watch new Star Wars stuff. You can't make me watch Rings of Power. I was like, I have no interest in watching them destroy things that I love. Like I didn't even see the new Indiana Jones. I knew what it was going to be. No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you. I'd rather just remember it like it was, you know?
Yeah. Did you watch any of the new Star Wars stuff?
I think we watched, we did Mandalorian.
Yeah. Mandalorian.
We actually liked the first two seasons. We actually had a good time with it.
Yeah,
it wasn't perfect, but we thought it was good enough.
It was enjoyable. Yeah.
Season 3, like my kids like tapped out quick, and I was like, "You guys don't want to watch anymore. I ain't watching." I was watching it with you guys. Everyone, you got to watch Andor, and I was like, after Obi-Wan, I was like, "F this." I'm done with this.
Obi-Wan was disappointing.
I just said, forget it. I'm done. And everybody's like, "Oh, you got to watch Andor." Though I was like, "No, I'm done giving Disney they're out of continues, guys. There's no more continues." And I'm just done with it. I just walked away. And
yeah, I agree.
If you guys are, but I tell people all the time, if you're enjoying it, man, I'm not taking it away from you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thanks, Taylor. I appreciate that.
Happy to do it, man. Christopher's like genuinely like the nicest guy, you know. So that's why the success he's having now is like, I'm so happy for him because he deserves it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, yeah, it's still wild to me that he wrote that first book, Empire of Silence, when he was 18 or 17. That's crazy.
Hey, Josh, you know what the really painful thing about that is now George actually like openly coming out and saying, I'm probably never going to finish these books.
So sad.
And the thing was, like, I think I was actually talking to John about this, as I was saying that I accepted like 7-8 years ago. It was like, once the show passed the books, I realized it's never happening. And I got over it. You know, it's still my favorite fantasy series of all time. It is. Yeah. But I accepted a long time ago. We're not seeing the end of it. And I'm just thankful we got the amazing books we got. But it never seemed like a priority for him.
Yeah. So I know. You wonder why he waited so long to finally be like, I'm probably not going to do it.
It does suck because I think about like when Dance with Dragons came out, I had no kids. Now I've got a kid in 7th grade and in 4th grade.
That's wild.
About to be a teenager. You know, it's it's crazy. But, you know, and I think it sucks because it damaged the community for a lot of people. Where like a lot of people that are like, I'm not starting a series unless it's complete. It's because of guys like George and guys like Patrick Rothfuss. They just don't trust some of these authors now, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it really does suck.
It's true. Yeah, I will say I did watch Andor. I think I did Mandalorian and Andor. I haven't watched anything else since, but Andor was pretty good. Someday, if you do watch it, you will like it. But you know, you only have so much time. I get it. So I haven't watched anything else, but Andor was good.
I don't know. I've reached that stage in my life that all middle-aged men reach where I find myself just watching nothing but like documentaries now. Like I cannot say no to a 30 for 30. It's a 30 for 30 I haven't seen. I've got to watch it immediately. They just dropped a ton of new 30 for 30s on Netflix that I'd never seen before.
No, they did
all week.
Oh man, I got to go on there then too. Oh yeah, those are so good. They're all so well done.
What was the last one you watched? I watched the Yacht Rock one with my wife the other night. Yacht Rock.
Oh
Yeah, so
man.
it could be a documentary on like how they make balloons, and I'd watch it and enjoy it. Probably it's just you reach a certain age, and it's just how it happens. It's just
Oh man.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
It's a sports. It's done by Bill Simmons, who a lot of people don't like, but this is a really great program. It's basically just sports documentaries, and they're just amazing. They're easily the best sports documentaries out there. And for me, there's no better documentary than like either a rock and roll band watching their ups and downs or sports. Because for me, with sports, it's just like it's just inspirational, I think. And you get a really good sports documentary because we've talked about before. There's nothing that can hurt you with the highs and lows quite like sports can.
Yeah.
And that's why I just love sports documentaries. And 30 for 30 are just great. Like my wife will watch these 30 for 30s with me. She's like, she has no idea what any of these things are. And I think it was Once Brothers. It was the one about, was it Jaws and Petrovic and, God, what was his name? Oh my God, he used to play for the Lakers. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. And it was about them where they were like the conflict between their countries where they were great, friends.
Yeah.
Vladi Divac.
Vladi Divac, yeah.
And it was like the division in their country made it where they weren't friends anymore. And then Drazen Petrovic dies in a car accident while they're not speaking. Right. And it was just like, and my wife is bawling, knows nothing about this. Just that's how well those 30 for 30 documentaries are done. They really get the human aspect of the players and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, which is something you don't really see when you're watching sports very often. Don't think of them as real people sometimes.
Yeah. It's real.
Oh man.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. And you don't even have to like sports to enjoy these documentaries. That's how well
for sure. I haven't heard of this one. Jeremy's talking about Tickled. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't.
Jeremy, what's that one about? Tell us a little bit.
Tickled. Mr. French Tickler. Rita Fulcher told me all about it.
Oh man. Yeah, Chance said if they did some old Republic stuff with like Darth Revan and stuff, that would be cool.
That's always the problem with it's like you guys. You get Kathleen Kennedy up there acting like a huge idiot saying, oh, we don't have, 50 years of comics and 700-page novels to pull from. Are you serious? Yes, you do have that.
I know
you have that. And it's like they had a wealth of stuff, and they didn't want to adapt that stuff. I understand. But you've got so many great stories. You got so many great storytellers, and you're not using this stuff.
I know.
No one wanted to watch Bad Batch. No one wanted to watch whatever the hell that one that everybody was fighting about 6 months ago. I don't remember what the hell it was.
Oh yeah.
You're making this stuff for people who don't give a shit about Star Wars. It's like you could go right now and you could make an animated series based off of what you call Legends now. Yeah. And that would do gangbusters for you.
Oh,
you won't use it. I mean, they didn't even want to put Darth Vader in Rogue One. They had to fight for that.
I know. That was crazy.
It's like the most awesome scene in that movie.
Yes.
It's wild. It's wild. You have these.
There's so many characters.
The Star Wars sequels where it was like you got those three actors, Han, Luke, and Leia, you got them back together, and then you don't even put them in a scene together. It's like getting the Beatles back together and making them do solo albums. What are you doing, man? It's like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out. Give the people what they want.
I know,
and they wouldn't. They refused to do it.
It's crazy. I agree. Jeremy said it's the dark side of tickling contest.
No kidding. Well, that might be interesting because, man, I still tickle the hell out of my kids. And I'm starting to be like, they're starting to get to that age pretty soon where they're going to be like, stop doing that. And I'm like, no. I know. You'll be a 30-year-old man. I'm going to be tickling you when you walk in my house, So,
that's right. Yeah. Chris says, YouTube video where Swedish couple do A2 bindings of Stormlight Archive.
I saw somebody posted that on the Discord the other day. I haven't watched it yet because, like, apparently they showed it to Brandon Sanderson and he really did like it.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I feel like such a dope for missing that convention, man. I didn't go. Man, I had the opportunity to, and I did not go because I don't know. I guess I just didn't think it was that big.
Yeah.
And all the messages and stuff I got from people being like, "Hey, are you here? I wanted to meet you." Right. I'm having authors. I'm having like I won't mention names. I have big name authors reaching out to me like, "Hey, if you're here, I wanted to say hi to you." And I'm like, and then like just the FOMO, just seeing like everyone off Booktube.
Oh, I know.
There, it's just it sucked. It sucked.
You gonna go to the next one then?
I'm hoping. With me with things like that, really more it's just about the time off work and expenses and stuff. I hope. I hope. I think there's a better chance of me doing that than doing like Dragon Con. Definitely.
Yeah. Right. For sure.
Oh, John, the thing is like I honestly believe that the reason you haven't seen any Brandon Sanderson stuff adapted is because he wants full creative control and they won't let him have it.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
I think he's being very protective of his product. And I think that's
agree.
good. That's good because I know there's something I'll tell you about Pierce Brown. The reason you haven't seen any Red Rising stuff is because there's certain things that he won't let them change.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. So there are authors out there who are
good.
I'm going to take the check. They're going to buy the rights. I will take the check right now. I understand that. I'm never going to never criticize anybody for taking the money. Get your money. Yeah. But the ones who are obviously money's not a problem for them. I think it's good that they're being very protective of their rights because so many people didn't do that for the longest time. And like, look what they did with Dresden Files when they adapted that.
So bad. So bad.
You know, so yeah, I'm glad that there are some authors out there who are being protective of their property.
You wonder like why that one especially is a great example. You just like who's sitting in that room and is like, you know what? Let's just change everything completely. Let's make him have a hockey stick.
You think, John? You think he probably could independently do that? He's doing well, but I think there's just people don't realize just really all that goes into making a movie. You know, you just because he says I'm going to do this independently, you would have people trying from major studios trying to cock block the hell out of him to get that made. Yeah. They wouldn't let him hire anybody who knew what they were doing. It's just that's like trying to face the cartel. It really is. Like, why do you think that you see when all these movies were going straight to Netflix and all the critics are just lambasting these movies? Because it's like studios realize you don't need them anymore.
Right.
To distribute movies, and it's just it's a cult, and they're not going to let go of that easily. And I just think that if Brandon Sanderson tried to do that, he probably could, but he'd probably get put through the ringer, and he probably ruin it where he'd never want to do it again. Yeah. So it's not just the money. There's a lot of things about hiring people to help, and it's the mafia.
That's a good point.
It's hard to break through, and I really think that when you look at something like Stormlight Archive, that needs to be animated.
Yeah.
Making that as a movie would be ridiculous, dude. They would put you guys have read Stormlight Archive. You know what the Sprint are? Audiences would be laughing out loud at the Sprint. They would be laughing out loud at it, and it's one of those things where I'm like, I never say anything's unfilmable because I thought Lord of the Rings was unfilmable.
Oh yeah,
I thought Watchmen was unfilmable.
Right,
and we've had pretty good adaptations of these things.
Yeah.
This one, I'm like, it would be it reads like an anime. Mm-hmm. I think it should be an anime for sure. And good for Brandon for sticking to his guns.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah. Well, yeah. Taylor says see you at next year's Dragonsteel. There you go.
Yeah, I hope so. Christopher's really been in my ear about not going. So.
I bet he has.
He's like, come on, we can split a hotel room.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, Jeremy, I can imagine that would kind of be a deal breaker if it's about aliens. They want to take aliens out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's kind of silly.
I like they just I think they call it Teacup, but apparently that's an adaptation of the book Stinger by Art McCammon. It doesn't use the name, and it's apparently nothing like the books. I'm like, what the hell? How is it an adaptation then?
It can't be an adaptation if it doesn't adapt the book. Yeah, that's crazy.
Is MarsCon a real thing, or are you talking about going to Mars? Because if Elon wants to send me to Mars, man, I will go.
Right?
I will go for sure. I don't know.
Rocky he's the guest of honor?
Oh, I don't.
MarsCon. About this. I haven't heard of that one.
I know he was talking about doing like his own little small thing in North Carolina when his final book comes out. And he's trying to talk me into doing that. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
To me, it's more about getting the time off work than it is anything else, you know? So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a lot. Trying to figure all that out for sure. And Texas is a huge state. Where are you at in Texas? Are you like
Houston?
Okay. Oh yeah, you're in Houston. I knew that. So yeah, that is the tough part for sure.
Yeah, airfare hasn't gotten cheaper over the years, you know. So it's like airfare, the lodging, but outside of that, like I said, it's also taking that much time off work, getting someone to watch the kids. You know, it's.
I know. Ugh. Yeah, it's tough. Are you doing a cruise again? This upcoming
yeah, we do one like once a year. But this one it's gonna be later in the year this year. We're going like in October because if you go off season, it's ridiculously cheap, and we wanted to splurge and get a suite for the first time, and we said, well, if we're gonna do that, we've got to go like in the off season, and so basically that's what we did. We're going like October next year. But I know a lot of people like get all like, oh, I can't believe you're going to like these stupid expenses. Like, dude, cruising ain't nearly as expensive as you think it is. If you go off season and you realize Galveston Bay is 50 miles away from us, it's
right.
You ain't got to worry about traveling very much to get to it. And you know what? Your kids sail for free. You know, the third and fourth person in your room get to come for free. So it's just like a cheap, easy family vacation for us each year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you want to talk about gaining 20 pounds, man. You can do that in the first 2 days on a cruise.
I bet.
Watch out.
Now, are you going to have another Vanishing Birds situation on your next cruise?
You know, the next book that I think that Brian picked was Mystic River. And I'm actually interested in that because Clint Eastwood did the movie. And he usually doesn't do bad movies, you know. So I'm interested to see the book. I like the idea of doing something out of the comfort zone a little bit. But Vanished Birds, man, God, man, what a shit show that was. Man, I'll be doing my biggest disappointments and let you guys know that's gonna be pretty high up there.
that one's not a spoiler, huh?
No, that was bad. And that was the thing I learned is never ever to make even if it's a short, never make a video while you're drinking. You know, because I did that on the beach at a place where it was all inclusive booze, and like I said, you know, 2 beers now gets me goofy.
Yeah,
and making that video and posting it while I was there was probably a bad idea.
No, it was good fun for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man. Ooh, Japan. Let's see where I went to a haunted house ride that takes place in actual. That's.
I've read enough horror books to not mess around with stuff like that.
Yes, I'm not going to any place like that.
It's like people are like, oh, you know, like sharks. You watch Jaws and you got scared of the ocean. Like, oh, sharks really like that won't mess with you. And they're like, well, it scared me enough to not try. You know, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I feel like I'm always that one person with animals or something like that where they're all like, oh, they've never done that before. I always feel like I'm that person. Oh, the horse has never bit anybody before. Why is it? Oh, it's just always ends up being me. So I'm just always like, no, I'm cool. I'm cool not holding the snake that everybody says has never bit someone.
It's gonna be fine. Yeah,
I'm cool. I'm cool.
I'm right there with you, man. That Molly's down for it, of course.
Down. I mean, you don't have a name like Molly McCobb and not like
you got to be able to go in.
Yeah, it just feels like fake advertising if you don't. Yeah, so
50 minutes long. That's even worse that it takes that long.
We've got some places in Houston where they say like one of the most haunted places in the world, and I've never even tried it. So no thanks. No thanks. It's like it's one of those things where like I don't think that Ouija boards are really, you know, something to be scared of, but I know enough not to mess with one.
Oh, heck no.
I said I've read enough horror books. I've read enough Stephen King. I watched enough Mike Flanagan movies and know I'm not messing with this shit. You know?
That's true. Yeah.
Good things you don't play with.
No. Yeah, we know what happens. Yep, I agree. Hey, Corey, how's it going, man? In Ohio, the haunted long shut down, 150 plus year old. Yeah, that's a lot of years of insanity. That does not sound good. Some unsavory things happened at places like that back in the day. For sure. I agree, Molly. Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Fantastic.
He's awesome. He's like one of the few guys out there who understands Stephen King books and how to adapt them.
Right. What was the last horror book that you read this past year? I'm trying to remember from your video what the last one you read was.
I guess All the Fiends of Hell? Maybe Adam Neville.
Yeah.
It's more of a sci-fi horror book, but I was trying to keep that theme going.
Yeah.
T. Kingfisher. What else did I read in October? Hell, I can't remember. Don't watch Mike Flanagan show while getting tattooed.
Now, do you want to?
Oh, you jump
scared while you're getting tattooed? That's not good. Oh man.
No, you guys sound like you're way braver than I am.
So. Oh, me too, man. Yeah. What's up, Avid Book Junkie? What's up, man?
All I need to do to get creeped out is just go like in the dark out in the woods, and I'm freaked. No thanks. Like we did, people with like Cub Scouts were like camping in the woods. And I'm like, this is too much. No, this is too much for me. Yeah.
I just need to go to get something in the basement with all the lights off, and I'm I'm already scared.
I
I don't even have to go
know,
outside.
like I say at a certain age you can't really get scared reading a horror book or whatever, but it can make
Oh
you
yeah.
uncomfortable. But I was like, there are things that kind of will stick in your memory though. Like to this day, I will still kind of take the long way on the street when I'm walking past a sewer drain, you know?
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
I mean it's like, yeah, sure, it's a work of fiction, but it still stayed in my head
Oh
enough.
heck yeah.
I'm
Oh, and
just gonna
you always got to look in
rather
there.
be safe than sorry. Yeah.
For sure. Oh man. Oh, what
No,
was
you
the
guys talking
first?
about walking through insane asylums and abandoned hotels and shit.
I
Man, we all
know.
have
We
fun.
got some brave people down here. What was the first Stephen King book you read? I don't remember.
That was it.
Sure you said it. Was your first one? That was
Mhm.
my first one too.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I grew up in a sheltered family, religious family,
Yep.
and my parents thought that Stephen King was like basically Satan on earth, you know. So I was not allowed to touch his stuff. And then the miniseries adaptation of It was coming out, and I begged and begged and begged, and they're like, "Well, if it's on ABC, it must not be that bad." It really wasn't, but that was kind of like the gateway. Moved to Houston in '93, and that summer didn't know anybody out
Yeah.
here. And the hotel, or I'm sorry, the apartment complex that we were living at had a little library, and I saw Stephen King's It in there.
Oh,
So
nice.
I just basically hid it all summer. Read it when my mom was either in bed or at work. And it took me like the
Uh,
whole summer to read it because of
yeah,
that
it's a
guy.
beast. Yeah.
And then when I went to the high school that year, their library, for some reason, our high school library was amazing, and it had like every Stephen King book except Dark
Oh
Tower.
man. Yeah.
And I just read all of them.
Uh,
That was kind of how it started for me.
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, you don't find that nowadays. You don't find too many Stephen King books in the library
It's wild
anymore.
to like think back, like, wow, we had Lovecraft and Stephen King in my library in high school. That's
Right.
impressive.
That was very impressive. Yeah, you don't get that anymore. It's a bummer. Oh man, Darkness That Comes Before.
It's good. It's a very
Yeah.
good book. That will be on my top 10 of the year, no doubt. That's a
Ooh,
very
nice.
good book. But
Okay.
man, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's like if it clicks for you, it's really gonna click for you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I do want to read that this coming year. So that's good.
Yeah, John, that was when my kid was kind of freaked out by it. We showed him the 1990 miniseries of It to kind of be like the breaking the ice of him for Stephen King stuff. He's kind of like me, where he watched the new ones, and he's like he kind of likes some things better about that miniseries than he does the
Right.
movies, and same with me. But
Yeah.
he's also like me that he thinks that both performances of Pennywise were good.
Oh yeah.
They're both
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yep.
I mean,
Mhm.
Tim Curry's a legend. Obviously.
Oh, for sure. He's awesome. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, he's been good just about everything he's been in.
I love Clue. What an amazing movie
I was
that
gonna
is.
say he's awesome in Clue. Oh, that's such a good movie. Man, I used to love playing that game back in the day too. That was a fun one to play.
I always thought maybe that people were pranking me. We played that as like kids, and like people would be solving it before I even got my turn. I'm like, is there something I'm missing?
Right.
Why are you guys doing this? I'm like,
How do you know this so
23
quick?
moves.
Dang, that's pretty good. I
don't know
never
how
had
you
anybody
never
do
really
that.
learned to play the game because of
You
that.
never even got to take a turn. Oh man. Gotta remedy that. You gotta play it with your kids now.
Try
See if
it.
you
Yeah,
can-
my kids are still to the point where they just want to play like the same. They just want to play Battleship. They want to play
Oh yeah.
Operation.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you guys want to play like anything that like makes you think. Like,
Yeah.
try playing like Monopoly. They get bored too fast.
I
You
know.
know, and it's just like, oh, I mean, it would suck for you to have to learn about how money works. You know, I know that would be really, really, really hard for you, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, this is the problem with you guys not growing up dirt poor like I did. You guys don't value money like I do.
Right. I know, right? Yeah, they don't get that for sure. That's Monopoly always makes me think of the like that what's it called? The mandolin effect or whatever. You ever look up some of those things where it says the Monopoly guy never had the monocle? But I swear he did.
Really? Is that like one of those
one
Mandela
of those-
effect things?
Yeah. Like it says he
no.
never actually had a monocle. But I swear he always has. But
He
apparently he
doesn't?
didn't. No. Isn't that wild?
I'm gonna go look at my board after we go.
I know.
My wife brought this up with the Berenstain Bears one time, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
"This
yeah.
is a real thing that people remember different things. Like it's a glitch
Yeah.
in the Matrix." She's convinced we're living in a simulation, and it's a glitch in the simulation. And I'm like,
What's the Berenstain Bear one?
that it's Berenstain Berenstain
Oh, yeah.
Bears, not
Yeah.
Berenstain Bears. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I had Berenstain Bears. She swears she had Berenstain Bears. I'm like, go find it.
Oh,
She's like, well, I
man.
don't have it anymore. I'm like, well, then you're just remembering it wrong. So,
Yeah, right.
but there are other things out there. You can watch like whole videos on YouTube about it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those things I'll be like, I swear to God, it was different too. Like Nelson Mandela did die, and in the James Bond movie, you know, the girl did smile with the Jaws teeth, and then that didn't happen either. And I'm like, what in the world am I thinking of? So it's really weird when you start diving deep into
You go
that.
in it. Yeah.
It's like shit, maybe all right, but then I don't. Yeah, that's a conversation I'm not ready to have.
No, me neither. Me neither, man. I know. It's crazy. It's wild stuff for sure. Oh. So are you all done with your Christmas shopping? No, hold on. I bet you do. You make spreadsheets for your kids' Christmas gifts?
I actually just have that one on Notepad on my phone because I'm afraid they'll find it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And really, honest to God, all that is just to make sure that we're balancing it out. That one kid isn't getting more than the other.
Oh yeah, I got to do that too.
Because we're like, look, it's there's price differences and stuff like that, so we don't play that in effect. But we just try to make sure they both feel like they've opening an equal amount of presents on Christmas morning. I've got everything done except stockings, little stocking stuffers. I got everything done except that. So got to hit up the old $1.25 store here pretty soon.
Heck yeah.
Remember when it was called the dollar store? Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Oh yeah. I know it is. Do you do actual stockings that you put their stuff in?
Oh yeah, we have Star Wars stockings. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. That's awesome. I do what I did as a kid, because I don't know why we did this. Maybe it's because my grandparents, we always did Christmas at their house. And I think because maybe they didn't have like a fireplace, they never did stockings, and they worked at like some kind of factory that made paper bags. So we had the grocery paper bags, and we would decorate them and put our name on them and put those in front of the tree, and they would fill those with our stuff from Santa. So I do that with my kids now, which is pretty cool. But
that's great.
And we hang stockings, but we don't put anything in them just for looks. But yeah, so that's what I do.
Every year we'll say, oh, we're not going to do that much because their grandparents like just way over every year. And so we're just like, oh, we're not going to do that. But then by the time it gets here, like in September, we'll be, oh, go ahead and get that for Christmas. And then we'll look at it around November. And we're like, they've got too much stuff already.
I know.
So lucky little bastards. Yeah.
I know they are. Kids nowadays, I tell you.
Any your kids interested in books at all? Because mine aren't. I could give two shits.
No, I was gonna ask you that. Like they always are when they're real little, but when I read with them and stuff. But then,
well, my youngest will still check out books from his school library, and he'll be interested in them. He's on the spectrum, so he was a little behind on everything. So he still is. He just wants to show us how good he is at reading, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
but you give them here sitting right here is a book you really like, and sitting right here is your iPad. Which one do you think they're taking?
Oh yeah, iPad every time.
Yeah, like we will complain about them being like, oh, they don't go outside enough and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I don't know that we would have went outside if we had Netflix and a 56-inch television. I don't think we ever would have went outside.
I know. I know. And it's same thing. My kids love to be on that stuff, and I know it's a bummer when they get older. They just don't care about reading anymore. You hope it comes back around, like it did. I guess it didn't really for us, because like you said, we didn't have all that stuff when we were kids, especially once you get to be middle school as a teenager. Like there's just so much at their fingertips at any moment. Can watch any show they want, any movie they want, like video games. It's wild.
We took them to this place called Great Wolf Lodge, which is just like a indoor water park. Yeah. And you should have seen the tantrums they were throwing about having to stand in line and wait with nothing in their hands. They were so mad. And I was like, oh, boo hoo. I was like, we used to stand in line for 3 hours to ride a roller coaster that was 45 seconds long. Shut up. Yeah, it's just you understand that's you try not to. Back in my day, sometimes it was like you guys would have known what it was like before the internet. You guys never would have made it.
I know. Oh gosh, man, it's so wild even to think back, because we remember that, but like dial-up internet, like trying to go to a website and you're just waiting for it to like come down the screen. It takes 5 minutes just to go onto one page. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's like we could have never imagined something like YouTube when we first got the internet. Because I remember it was 1999, and it was the teaser trailer for, was it 1999 or 2000? Whenever they put it, you could download the teaser trailer for Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh yeah,
and it was one of those where like you said to download and you just basically came back to it in 3 days.
Yeah.
For a 90-second teaser trailer on QuickTime.
Yeah.
That's how old I am, guys. Yeah. That's how bad the internet connections were when we first got it, too.
Oh, it was bad. I worked at a video store when I was in high school and got out of high school. And I remember it was all VHS tapes back then. And then we had like a few DVDs. And then, it's wild to think how much things have changed since then.
Taylor, one thing I'll say about this is I know there are a lot of booktubers out there who look down on people who audio and will basically say it's not actually reading. And I can see where they're coming from. To me, I always say consume the story however works for your life, because you don't know what that person's life's like. They might not have time to read a 1,400-page Brandon Sanderson book with just their eyes. I get that.
Right.
I'm somewhat jealous because I wish I could audio like this. I would consume a lot more books than I do.
Oh, heck yeah.
But the thing is, like, why I am actually very much a supporter of audibles, because it's getting people to consume these stories that never would have even a few years ago. So I feel like there are a lot of people now, they may be just audio only, and I don't discourage them from doing that, because I'm just excited they're consuming some of these stories that I want them to consume. And that's awesome to me. My parents never read to me at night before bed. Maybe that's why I can't audio. I don't know. Right. I read to my oldest until he got to the point where he was like, I think we're done with this. Broke my heart a little bit, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I bet, man. That sucks.
But it's one of those where I'm like, he's gonna be a audiobooker because he's used to
he's used to reading to him. Well, and you do all the voices and stuff.
Dude,
so
he was a tough customer. He was like, no, you can't use that voice because you did that voice for this person. I'm like, so I can't use a voice that I used when I was doing Harry Potter for Percy Jackson? I'm like, bro, I'm not Robin Williams, man. I don't have 400 voices, But,
yeah, that's tough, man.
Tough customer. He kept me on my feet there.
Did you get all the way through those books with him?
The first 5 Percy Jacksons we did.
Okay.
We got about 2 books into the sequel series, and that was about the time where he was just like, he's not really feeling it anymore.
Yeah.
But it breaks the heart a little bit. But I'm glad that we got to experience that together, because I was expecting to read Percy Jackson and be like face palming the whole time. I had a great time with it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Matt Mercer.
Who's Matt Mercer?
I don't know. You got to stump
with a lot of voices.
Must be.
No, it made me actually even more mad, because I was like, "Oh man, I'm not Robin Williams." And he's like, "Who's Robin Williams?" Who's Robin Williams? I'm out of here, like flipping tables. It's like, I've shown you like 6 of his movies. Come on.
Oh yeah, man. Did it probably Mrs. Doubtfire, right? I feel like kids always like that one.
Yeah, obviously he knows Aladdin. That's probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
Hook. He's watched Hook a bunch of times.
Oh yeah, Hook was great. Voice actor, the guy who runs Critical Role.
I don't know what that is either. So
I don't either,
you're exposing me here, John. Exposing me here.
Yeah, I don't know. Critical Role. I don't know what that is. John's like, oh, these guys.
So if Audible's responsible for bringing in more people, I'm cool with that. I'm really excited, because again, there's people who will tell me, oh, you've got to listen to the audio of First Law. And I'm like, I can't audio. Like, well, you know the story well enough now. Just listen for the performance. I'll listen to clips. I'm like, yeah, that's impressive. That's really well done. That's really well done. So if there's people who are discovering these series, I'm glad there's really great audio performances out there for them. Yeah. To get into these stories.
Yep. We're always nerds with you, John, even if we don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's what it is. Popular Dungeons and Dragons YouTube.
Yeah, I never really played D&D. I finally broke down and was going to play D&D, and then COVID happened. And we couldn't do it. And we tried to do it one time over a virtual thing. And like the Dungeon Master got like this old, huge, like 60-inch LED TV screen for the maps and all that. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
We got to do one session before the world ended. It sucked.
So
I never really got to play D&D.
Yeah, I didn't either. I never had any friends or siblings or anybody that was into it. So I never did it.
So you were an only child?
No, I have 3. So I have an older brother and older sister and a younger sister. But yeah, my brother never was into D&D or anything. So
my brother was 6 years older than me, so we just now are able to like get along, So we never really got along enough to play something like that. I remember he played with his friends. But
Yeah.
I was never allowed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nope. Yep. Yep.
And I
Yep.
don't blame him at all. But yeah, it sucks.
Oh
It
yeah.
sucks. I went out and bought like the nice. I actually got it right here. I got the nice like roll board and all that stuff.
Oh man.
I got the nice dice.
Dang, you were ready to rock and
I
roll.
got my barbarian piece. I got the nice like dice rolling board. I got this really awesome journal. It just stays up here now because I don't know what to do with it. I've got this really nice journal to write like all my progress, all my spells and my progressing and all that stuff.
Dang.
And then the
you
game.
were ready to be a serious D&D.
I was all about this. We took
That is
notes real well that first day.
Oh man, look at that.
And then yeah, it ruined everything. So.
Oh.
It sucks. I always time to talk about like, hey, we can do it now. And he's like, nah, I don't even have that TV anymore. It's not, the thrill is gone. So I've got all this nice D&D stuff.
Dang it.
So we did it. And you can try to do the, doing online thing. It's just not the same.
It's not the same as being in person. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I know. That's true. That's pretty cool. Niece playing D&D. It's good to know that college people are still doing D&D.
Yeah, right.
That's good.
I go to a college campus because I went back to school in my late 30s, and I went to a college campus, and like no one was like hanging out and talking to each other. Everybody had earbuds in; they were just looking at their phones. And I was like, "Wow, is the college experience the same as it used to be?"
Right? Yeah. Wow. I don't think so. Maybe some parts, but oh yeah. When I was a nurse for a long time, and then I went back to school to become a teacher, and I did it online, so I didn't have to go to college in person.
Yeah,
but I did. Back when I got out of high school, I took the ACT, and now they want you to have the SAT, or you have to have a high enough score on the ACT, and I missed the math cutoff by like 1 point, so I had to go take the SAT at a high school, and I was in my mid-30s, and I had to go with all these high school kids at this high school to take my SAT. It was so weird. It was really odd.
I've got this beat. Okay, so I was on scholarship, and like really the only stipulation of the scholarship was that you had to go to the actual main campus once a semester for their banquet. Of course, I'll come for that. I mean, you're paying my school. Of course, I'm going to come to that. Wear a nice suit, and I'm walking through the campus, and like a student stops me and says, "Professor, could you tell me how to get to this?" I was embarrassed because they thought I was a professor, and second, I was like, I don't know. I'm an student. I have no idea where that is.
I'm not a professor, and I can't help you at all.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's always a good time.
But hey, I was grateful for the opportunity. It changed my life going back to school. I tell people all the time, it's like, man, it's never too late. I went back to school with 0 credit hours at 37 years old, man. So, that's awesome. Yeah, never too late.
Yeah, same. Yeah, you don't. That's what I try to tell, like, because I do resource like special ed for kids that have learning disabilities, that are on the spectrum, that kind of stuff. And I work with them to try to help them with like organization, and some of them just social awkwardness and managing all that stuff. And I get them when they're sophomores, and then I have them all the way till they graduate. And whenever they are getting ready to be done with school, they always think they got to have it all figured out. I got to know what I need to do. I got to know what I want to be. And it's like, dude, I went back to college and changed my whole career in my 30s. Like, just go live life and do whatever sounds good. And if you don't like it, you can change your mind down the road. Like, it doesn't, you don't have to know what you're doing when you
That would suck to feel like, you feel like you're really attached to them. That's gotta suck to see when they're, when you're done with them, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it does. It is. It's, but it's kind of cool. Like a lot of times, especially doing resource, a lot of times they're kids that have a lot of struggles with, just not doing homework or not caring, or they've kind of mailed it in. And then to see some of those kids from sophomore year to senior year, and kids that said, I'm not going to graduate, I don't care. And then they walk across the stage and get their diploma, and, they just do a 180. Like, it's pretty cool. There's some kids that don't. Some kids I never am able to get that connection with. And
it's the first year my youngest is really struggling. Like the teacher told us the other day that, he wasn't like doing his work or whatever. And he basically just said like, oh, what's it matter? I'm stupid anyway, and that breaks your heart to hear as a parent. And I'm sure for, an educator who's working with kids like that, it's got to be awful, but it's one of those things where they'll teach you, people sometimes be like, how are you so patient? I'm like, have a special needs kid.
Yeah.
And you'll find out you've got patience you never knew you had.
Yeah,
Really
for
did.
sure, man. Yeah, it's tough. When how old was he when you started kind of noticing that some of that stuff?
He has speech delay, and we figured that's what it was, and we took
Yeah,
him to you take him to school for testing, and they didn't approve him for pre-K, and we were like completely blown away. We're
right.
like,
Yeah,
what in the world? I was like,
Mhm.
clearly can't see it. So when it was time for him to go to kindergarten, did it again. I was like,
Yeah,
check out what he's like. I'm
right.
dropping him off here on Monday. Have fun.
Yeah,
And they were like, "Oh, okay." After that, they said, it's one of those things where we look back and like, how, even the teachers like, we don't know how the hell that happened. He should have been
yeah.
in here. So
He,
he's already set behind because of that.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's wild, man. I don't. Yeah, that should not have happened for
it
sure.
is because it's one of those things where we moved just to get into better schools
Yeah,
for that reason.
right.
And it was completely wild to us when we didn't get that access the first
Yeah,
year. But
that doesn't make any sense.
it's a struggle. But he's a hard worker.
Yeah,
He doesn't really give up very easily. But now it's
that's
just like,
good.
I wish we could just take the devices and stuff away from him because he focuses a lot more when he doesn't have them.
Yeah,
But it's awful to be like, oh yeah, your older brother who's normal can use it and you can't.
yeah.
We
I
try
know.
not to do
Yeah,
that. We
yeah.
try
You
to make
can't
him
really do that.
feel like a normal kid.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's rough. It's rough as a parent. It really is.
That is. It's. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard, but it sounds like you're doing it right. It's,
Trying.
That's all you. That's all
So
you
I try
can
to
do.
tell new parents all the time, like, man, we're all rookies at this, and you're going to feel like a failure. Like it's like what was it, Matt or bearded beer cat,
Yeah.
bearded,
Oh yeah.
bearded,
Beard of Darkness.
bearded. Thank you. And he was just like basically saying like how he felt like a failure as a parent. I was like, dude, I
Yeah,
feel like
because he
that
snapped at his
once a
kid.
day. I was like,
Yeah,
man, that doesn't
same.
change. You just get more used to it, and rolling with it. And it's like we're all rookies, man.
Yeah. Yep.
All
Just
rookies.
figuring out as we go, doing the best we can every day, right?
Unless you're like John. John's all the time talking about like what a superstar parent he is, and he's just awesome. John.
Yeah.
John's just the goat. He's
Yeah.
right. Hey, John, you've raised some great looking kids, man. They look like they got their shit together. So
Yeah.
you're doing an awesome job.
Yep. Well, here you go. So yeah, totally never worked more than part time, and now he's
That's what his teachers all tell us. We're like, he'll probably never be able to live on his own and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah, he will. He'll get there. It just takes a while.
It does.
And I think back to like 5 years ago, and I'm like, he's doing stuff now that we could never ever fathom.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's rough. It's rough. But like I said, your kid, you wouldn't change him for the world, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You just got to take it 1 year at a time, like you said. And a lot of times too, I feel like kids, they're going to do a lot more when they're away from their parents than when they're with them. Like when he's at home and he's comfortable, he's going to let a lot of the bad side of him out.
Yes, when we was having like a meeting with his teachers and we're waiting to hear about like what a nightmare is. And they're talking about like what a sweetheart he is and how much they just love him.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, well shit, you guys want him? Because he ain't doing that here.
Yeah, exactly. let's switch this and see if it changes it. Yeah. I know my kids are like super quiet at school, and we'll always go and they'll talk about how, oh, they're really quiet. I wish they'd come out of their shell more. And I'm thinking, gosh, this kid doesn't shut up at home. Like, but they won't talk at school. Like, so it's true. It's just different,
A avid book junkie, man. That the same thing happened to me. I was like, I'm tired of doing a degree job and not getting paid for it because I didn't have a degree.
Yeah.
And I'm doing basically the same thing I was doing before college, and I doubled my salary. It really, because you hear all these people all the time about, oh, it doesn't matter. Higher education doesn't matter anymore. Yes, it does.
It does.
It absolutely does. You cannot get certain jobs without that degree, or at least you
what you want to do.
Like you deserve to get paid without that degree. Yep. So sure, of course, if a trade school is a better idea for you, do it. But man,
then it doesn't matter.
37 years old, had a newborn kid, and I went back to school, and it worked out. So it's worth it. It's never too late. There's so many great online options now too.
Oh, 100%. It makes it so much more manageable. I agree.
Still it's way too expensive, but that's something we can't really fix. I'm just saying it's never too late if it's in your ability to pay for.
Oh yeah. Well, and depending on what you want to go for. Like mine, I found an online school that was cool for teaching, and they have a lot of different things, but it was I forget what they call it, but basically like pace-based. You had to do regular 12 credits per semester, but once you finish a class, you can move on to the next one. So you could do as much as you could in that 6-month semester. And then it was the same cost. You just had to pay per semester. It didn't matter how many credits you took. So like I was like staying up till like 3 or 4 in the morning and like busted butt. And I got my bachelor's in like 3 semesters. And then it was only like, you know, $9,000 or whatever, because it was $3,000 per semester. Where if I would have gone, you know, the full time, it would have been triple that. I mean, I was like a zombie for that year and a half. But I mean, there's crazy stuff out there now that you can do. It's wild.
Yeah, it's not easy, you know, at that point in life. But just saying that it's just one of those things where you don't ever say, "Oh, well, I'm 30 something. It's too late." It's not. It's
never too late. Yeah,
it's too late, man.
Yeah. What were you doing before then? Like the
same.
I
was working in finance. Like I said, I was basically doing like the same kind of job, just working in accounting. It's just, you know, I didn't have a degree. It was a smaller company. You couldn't get a job at one of the bigger companies, something like that, without the diploma, you know. And they knew that they could get away with, you know, lowballing me because
you didn't have it.
Never again. So then going back to school, and the thing was like the thought that once I did graduate, they were going to actually start paying me what I deserved to be paid, and then the company got acquired. And so it was one of those things where you have the 2-year degree, which is too far to stop, but you really can't do anything with it. You can't really do it with a 2-year degree. And I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. And so someone brought up a point, hey, why don't you apply for a scholarship? So I applied for a couple of them and thought, what's the worst that can happen? You know, that cost me to apply.
Yeah.
And out of a field of like 800 and something finalists, I was one of the 4 that got picked.
Hey, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, blessing. So I just,
heck yeah.
Well, they told you, say, hey, just go in there like it's a job interview. Oh, okay, I can do that. You know, I thought they go pick me because I'm an old guy.
Yeah,
you know, but they did, and they think that the thing was, looking back on it, like they wanted someone they knew was actually going to finish.
That's true.
And I wanted to finish, and I got lucky. Got really, really lucky, and it changed my life. Really did.
Dang,
so,
never
too late, guys. And apply for these scholarships.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good inspirational story right there, because a lot of times people don't get them. Like I applied for so many of them and didn't get any, but somebody gets them. You know, it's worth trying. You never know.
And it costs nothing to try.
Yep, exactly.
It's definitely never too late, but you know, there's avenues out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey Dylan, thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Was it did it cover like a lot of the tuition? Was it a pretty good, decent scholarship?
Oh yeah, it was all the way. And like I said, it was because I was online. Yeah, it was online. So awesome. it didn't. All I had to pay for was like my books, but they gave you enough really to cover all that. So it was they actually give you a little over in case you want to pursue your master's. And I was just like, I don't want to take advanced business statistics 3, so I don't think I'm going for my master's. So at that time, I just wanted to go back to work so bad because I'd been working since I was 14. You know, I was like, it felt weird staying at home for 2 years with the kids while I was in school.
Oh yeah,
it was wild.
Yeah, totally different world, right?
Yeah, it was rough,
man. What was your first job in, like, when you were 14? What did you do? Your first thing you did?
Just one of those kind of like, hey, you're not old enough to actually like work here, so we'll pay you under the counter kind of thing. And it was just like working for like a newspaper, like delivering.
For a newspaper? Yeah, that's kind of a cool first job.
Yeah, it was funny. The 80s or something, man. They were. I guess that would be the 90s at that point, but still.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Wow.
Dang, that's a pretty sweet first job.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It was interesting for sure. Definitely, it was just like, hey, cool, I'm getting money. I can go buy like Super Nintendo games, you know.
Oh, Super Nintendo, nice.
Yeah.
Were you always a Nintendo guy?
No, that's the thing about me is I've never been a brand loyalist. Like I see these console wars people, and I don't understand.
Oh, I know.
I don't even understand it. But it's like if you got a good product, man, I want to play it. But
yeah,
Super Nintendo was really kicking ass at like the turn-based RPGs, and that's what I was really into at the time.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of what I was think back to. Is when I got the first job, and I was actually able to go buy these games and play like Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy 3 and Chrono Trigger and stuff. So it was
Chrono Trigger,
a time I'll always remember. Yeah.
Oh, Dad, nothing beat that, going to get a game,
because it was like at that time it was like your paycheck was completely 100% disposable income. It was amazing. You could buy CDs and video games and
CDs.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Those were the days, man.
Now it's like, hey, my paycheck, it's already spoken for. Let me go ahead and deposit it.
Let me put it in there so they can take it all. Yeah, I know. That was like the sweet spot when you're like late middle school, early high school, just kind of working a little bit, and like you guys still have summers off, and you can actually enjoy it because you're a little older, but you're not so old that you have so much responsibility. Magical times.
So my kids were peeking in the door at me. I think that means they want me. So
oh yeah, geez, man, it's been 2 hours.
yeah, I think I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's been like 2 hours since they ate, and kids will die if they don't eat every 2 hours.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
well, yeah, and my wife's at work, so I probably should make sure my kids are still alive in general. So yeah. Well, thanks, man, for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure.
It was a blast. I had a lot of fun.
Conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for everybody in the chat. You guys rock. Thanks for being here. You guys were an awesome chat group. Gave us lots of good things to talk about, so we appreciate it. So yeah, we're gonna get off here so we can go make sure our kids survive the day.
That's what they do.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks again, Mike. And I want to say too, if everybody knows Mike already, but I'll link his channel down below. But I'm also going to link your media reviews channel because I love that channel also. And I think
to get back on, be more consistent with that. But hey, anytime I get to make some videos with my wife, who I thought I would never get on camera, it was just quite an achievement. It really,
you guys are so fun together. You guys are great bantering back and forth.
I wish she felt the same way. No. All right, you guys rock. Thanks so much for the invite, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys later. Take it easy. See ya.